My beloved child, stop worrying. I already fixed what has been stealing your peace. Before this moment found you, I was already waiting for you here. Before your heart became heavy, I already knew the weight you would carry. Before your eyes filled with tears, I had already seen every one of them. Nothing that is happening in your life has surprised me. Nothing has slipped through my hands. I have never lost sight of you, not even for a single heartbeat. I know how many nights you have laid awake asking questions that seem to have no answers. I know how often your mind has raced through every possible outcome, searching for a way to escape the uncertainty. I have watched you try to carry burdens that were never yours to carry. I have heard the silent prayers that never left your lips because you believed no one would understand. But I understood. I always have. My beloved child, there is something you cannot yet see. While you have been looking at closed doors, I have been preparing new ones. While you have been focusing on what appears to be falling apart, I have been carefully putting together something stronger than you ever imagined. What looks delayed to you has never been delayed to me. What feels impossible to you has never been impossible in my hands. Imagine a loving father walking ahead of his little child through a forest path. The child sees only twisting branches, hidden rocks, and shadows that seem frightening. But the father quietly moves ahead, clearing the dangerous obstacles before the child ever reaches them. By the time the child arrives, the path is safer than it would have been without the father's unseen work. My beloved, that is what I have been doing for you all along. Long before you recognized the danger, I was already making a way. You have measured your future by your fears, but I measure your future by my promises. Fear has whispered that you are alone, forgotten, and running out of time. Yet my voice tells a different story. My voice declares that you are loved beyond measure, watched over every moment, and held securely in hands that never fail. The voices around you may speak of uncertainty, but I speak of hope. They speak of endings, but I speak of new beginnings. Today I ask you to listen carefully, because what I am about to remind you can change the way you see everything. The answer you have been chasing is not as far away as you think. The peace you have been searching for is not waiting for tomorrow. It begins the moment you believe that I have never stopped working on your behalf. So release the weight that has been pressing against your heart. Lay down the endless questions that have stolen your sleep. Stop believing that you must solve every problem before you can rest. I did not create you to live as a prisoner of worry. I created you to walk beside me, trusting that even when your eyes cannot see the road ahead, my hands are already shaping it with perfect love. Stay with me through this journey, my beloved child, because before this message is finished, you will discover that the greatest miracle is not simply that I can fix what is broken. It is that I already have. My beloved child, I saw every tear before you cried it. Long before sadness reached your heart, I already knew the moments that would test your strength. There has never been a single pain that escaped my notice. Every disappointment, every unanswered question, every quiet sigh you released when no one else was listening was fully known to me. You have never suffered in a place where my eyes could not find you. Even when you believed you were standing alone, surrounded by silence, I was closer than your next breath. There were days when you smiled for others while hiding your own sorrow. You carried responsibilities that seemed too heavy, hoping that if you stayed strong long enough, the weight would somehow become lighter. But I saw the exhaustion behind your smile. I heard the prayers you whispered through tears. I understood the fears you could not explain because they lived so deeply inside your heart that words seemed too small to describe them. Never mistake my silence for my absence. There are moments when I work most powerfully in places your eyes cannot see. A seed buried beneath the ground appears forgotten, covered by darkness and hidden from the world. Yet beneath the surface, life is quietly unfolding. Roots are stretching deeper. Strength is developing where no one can applaud it. The day finally comes when that seed breaks through the soil, and everyone celebrates what they can see. But the greatest work happened long before anyone noticed. My beloved child, there have been seasons in your own life that felt like being buried. You wondered whether your dreams had been forgotten. You questioned whether your prayers had reached me. You looked around and saw others moving ahead while you remained in what seemed like endless waiting. Yet all along, I was growing something inside you that could never have developed in comfort alone. I was building patience where frustration wanted to grow. I was planting wisdom where confusion tried to take root. I was shaping compassion inside you through experiences that one day will help heal someone else's wounded heart. Think of a skilled potter shaping clay on a wheel. The clay cannot always understand why it is being pressed, stretched, or reshaped. If the clay could speak, it might believe the hands were destroying it. But the potter knows exactly what the finished masterpiece will become. My beloved, my hands have never been working against you. They have always been working for you. Every moment of shaping has carried purpose, even when you could not understand it. There were doors that closed and broke your heart. You believed those opportunities defined your future. You wondered why the path you carefully planned suddenly disappeared beneath your feet. But I could see what was waiting behind those closed doors, and I loved you too much to allow you to walk into what would have stolen your peace. Sometimes my protection feels like disappointment before it reveals itself as mercy. You have asked me, why did this happen? Why did that prayer seem unanswered? Why did I lose something I loved? My beloved child, I have never ignored those questions. I have held each one with tenderness. While you searched for immediate answers, I was preparing lasting ones. There are blessings that can only be understood after enough time has passed for you to see the entire picture instead of just one painful moment. Remember the times when you thought you would never recover, yet here you are. Remember the moments when you believed the darkness would never lift, yet somehow light found you again. Those were not accidents. Those were reminders that my hand has always been upon your life. If I carried you through those valleys, why would I leave you now? The same love that sustained you yesterday is holding you today, and it will still be holding you tomorrow. My beloved child, I have counted every tear not because I delight in your sorrow, but because each one matters to me. Your pain has never been invisible. Your story has never been forgotten. Even the chapters filled with grief have been written beneath my watchful care. I have stood beside you through every storm, shielding you in ways you never noticed, strengthening you in ways you could not measure, and preparing blessings that your present worries cannot yet imagine. So do not believe the lie that your suffering means I have turned away. Lift your eyes beyond what you feel in this moment. I am still here. I am still leading you. I am still healing what hurts. And even now, while you are listening to my voice, I am continuing the work I began long before your first tear ever fell, because my love for you has never changed, and it never will. My beloved child, the battle you see is not the whole story. Your eyes naturally focus on what stands before you. You see the obstacle, the delay, the unanswered prayer, the difficult conversation, the uncertain future. You measure your circumstances by what you can touch and understand. But I see far beyond the horizon that limits your vision. I see every detail from beginning to end, and I tell you with everlasting love that there is far more happening than you realize. You have often believed that because you could not see movement, nothing was changing. You looked at the same situation day after day and wondered if your prayers had reached me. You searched for signs that something was improving, and when everything looked the same, discouragement quietly entered your heart. Yet, my beloved, appearances can be deceiving. What seems still to you may be filled with quiet progress. What feels empty may already be overflowing with my unseen work. Think about the sunrise. Before the first ray of light touches the earth, the morning has already begun. While the world still sleeps beneath the darkness, the sun is already rising beyond the horizon. The people waiting for daylight cannot yet see it, but that does not mean the dawn has stopped coming. It is moving faithfully, exactly as it was designed to do. In the same way, my plans for your life continue moving forward, even when your present circumstances still seem wrapped in night. There are conversations taking place that you know nothing about. Hearts are being softened. Opportunities are being prepared. Strength is growing inside you without your awareness. Every lesson you have learned through hardship is quietly becoming part of the foundation for the future I have prepared. You may think you are simply surviving another difficult day, but I see you becoming wiser, kinder, stronger, and more compassionate than you were before. The enemy of your peace wants you to believe that the visible battle is the only reality. Fear whispers, nothing is changing. You are losing. There is no way forward. But fear only tells the part of the story that feeds despair. It never speaks about my faithfulness. It never reminds you of my promises. It never shows you the unseen victories that are already unfolding beyond your sight. Fear always focuses on what is missing, while my love focuses on what is being built. Imagine a master builder constructing a magnificent home. During the early stages, all anyone sees is dirt being moved, deep holes being dug, and heavy stones being placed into the ground. If someone passing by, it may look like destruction rather than construction. They cannot imagine the beautiful home that will one day stand there because the foundation is hidden beneath the surface. Yet the builder knows that without a strong foundation, the house could never withstand the storms. My beloved child, I have been building deep foundations within you. Others may not see them. Even you may not recognize them. But I know exactly why every layer has been necessary. There have been moments when you asked me to remove the struggle immediately. You wanted quick relief because your heart was tired. I understood your longing, and I never judged your weakness. But sometimes the greatest miracle is not removing the mountain in a single moment. Sometimes the greater miracle is transforming you into someone who can climb it with courage, wisdom, and unshakable faith. In the journey, I shape your character. In the waiting, I deepen your trust. In the battle, I reveal that my strength is greater than your limitations. Do not think that every delay is a denial. Many times, what you call delay is my careful preparation. I am arranging pieces you cannot yet see. I am protecting you from paths that would have wounded you. I am aligning people, circumstances, and moments so that when the time comes, you will step into blessings that are stronger, safer, and greater than anything you would have created for yourself. My beloved child, remember how a tree grows. Long before its branches reach toward the sky, its roots stretch deep into the earth. No one celebrates the hidden roots because no one can see them. Yet those unseen roots determine whether the tree will stand when powerful winds arrive. I have been growing deep roots inside your heart. I have been teaching you to trust me when answers are delayed, to believe me when feelings change, and to remain faithful when the path seems uncertain. Those roots will hold you steady when life tries to shake you. So lift your eyes beyond the battle that stands before you. Refuse to believe that what you see today is the complete story of your life. My hands are working where your eyes cannot reach. My wisdom is moving through circumstances you cannot yet understand. My love is preparing victories that will one day make you realize that even during your hardest seasons, I never stop leading you. The battle you see is only one page of your story, but I am already writing the chapters that reveal my goodness, my faithfulness, and the beautiful future I have been preparing for you all along. My beloved child, I went before you long before you ever took your next step. Before you woke up this morning, I was already present in every moment that would unfold throughout your day. Before you worried about tomorrow, I had already entered it. Before you feared what might happen next, I had already prepared a path that my wisdom had carefully considered. You may feel as though you are walking into the unknown, but there is no unknown place to me. I have already been where you are going, and I have never left your side. You often imagine your future as a road covered in fog. You take one careful step after another, uncertain of what lies ahead. Every unexpected turn makes your heart race. Every delay causes new questions to rise within you. Yet what appears hidden from your eyes is perfectly clear to mine. I do not lead you by guessing. I lead you with complete knowledge. Every step I ask you to take has already been examined by my love, my wisdom, and my perfect purpose. Think of a loving father walking ahead of his young child on a mountain trail. The child notices only the narrow path and the stones beneath tiny feet. But the father sees much farther. He notices loose rocks before the child reaches them. He removes sharp branches that could cause harm. He quietly steadies unstable ground without drawing attention to himself. The child may never realize how many dangers were avoided because the father's hands were already at work. My beloved, this has been my care over your life. There are countless troubles you never experienced because I stood between you and what could have harmed you. Many times, you have thanked me for the blessings you received, but there are also blessings hidden inside the troubles you never faced. You cannot count the accidents that never happened, the decisions that were redirected at just the right moment, the conversations that changed unexpectedly, or the unseen protection that surrounded you every single day. My care has reached far beyond what your eyes could ever measure. There were opportunities you desperately wanted that suddenly disappeared. At the time, you believed your hopes had been crushed. You questioned why the door closed just when you thought it was finally opening. But I saw what was waiting behind that opportunity. I knew the burden it would have placed upon your heart. I knew the disappointment it would eventually bring. Because I love you more than you can imagine, I closed that door before it could wound you. My protection does not always look like the answer you expected, but it always carries my love. There were also moments when I quietly opened doors you never planned to walk through. At first, they seemed ordinary. You almost overlooked them because they did not match the picture you had created in your mind. Yet those unexpected moments became turning points in your life. A simple conversation, an unexpected friendship, a delayed appointment, a change of plans that frustrated you in the beginning. Each one became part of a greater design that only I could see. What seemed random to you was never random to me. I was arranging your path with care that reached beyond your understanding. My beloved child, stop believing that you must figure everything out before you can trust me. If you could see everything I see, faith would no longer be necessary. I have not asked you to understand every detail. I have asked you to hold my hand while I lead you. Just as a child feels safe because of the Father's presence rather than because of complete knowledge of the journey, I invite you to rest in my presence instead of demanding every answer. Here is a reason I do not reveal every chapter before its time. If you knew every mountain before you reached it, fear might stop you from beginning the journey. If you saw every blessing too early, impatience might rob you of the lessons that prepare you to receive it well. My timing protects both the gift and the one receiving it. I know exactly when your heart is ready. I know exactly when the moment is right. Nothing arrives too early, and nothing arrives too late when it is guided by my hand. Even now, while you wonder how certain situations will unfold, I am already moving ahead of you. I am preparing hearts you have not yet met. I am creating opportunities that do not yet exist in your sight. I am arranging circumstances that will come together with perfect precision. Pieces that seem disconnected today will one day fit together so beautifully that you will look back with tears of gratitude and realize I was guiding every step. So release the burden of trying to control what belongs in my hands. Stop carrying tomorrow before it arrives. Do not let fear write stories about a future that my love has already entered. Walk with confidence, not because every answer is visible, but because I am already there. Wherever your path leads next, you will never arrive alone. My presence has gone before you. My peace surrounds you. My promises remain unshaken. And the same faithful hand that has carried you through every yesterday is already waiting to welcome you into every tomorrow I have lovingly prepared. My beloved child, your waiting has never been wasted. I know that waiting can feel like one of the hardest journeys you will ever walk. There are moments when every passing day seems to echo the same question in your heart. When? You wonder when the answer will come, when the burden will lift, when the healing will arrive, when the opportunity will appear, or when the promise will finally become your reality. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, you may begin to believe that I have forgotten you. But my beloved, I have never forgotten you for even a single moment. The waiting you are experiencing is not empty. It is filled with my purpose. You often see waiting as lost time, but I see it as sacred preparation. While you are counting the days, I am shaping the person who will step into the blessing. I care not only about the gift I want to place in your hands, but also about the heart that will receive it. If I gave you everything the moment you asked, there would be lessons left unlearned, strength left undeveloped, and wisdom left undiscovered. My love is too great to give you something before it can truly become a blessing. Think about a farmer who plants seeds in rich soil. The day after planting, he does not dig up the ground to check whether the seed has started growing. He trusts the process. He waters the soil, removes weeds, and patiently waits because he understands that growth happens where the eye cannot see. If he became impatient and disturbed the seed every day, he would destroy the very thing he hoped to harvest. My beloved child, your prayers are like those seeds. I have received every one of them. I am nurturing them with perfect care. Just because you cannot yet see the harvest does not mean life is not growing beneath the surface. There are parts of your story that require time because they involve more than just you. Sometimes I am preparing another heart to cross your path. Sometimes I am arranging circumstances that must come together in ways only my wisdom can accomplish. Sometimes I am protecting you from stepping into a season before the foundation is strong enough to support it. If I rushed my work simply to satisfy your impatience, I would be giving you less than my very best. I desire more for you than quick answers. I desire lasting blessings. Remember how a sculptor creates a masterpiece from a block of stone. Each careful strike of the chisel removes what does not belong. To someone watching, it may seem slow and repetitive. They may wonder why the work takes so long. Yet the sculptor never loses sight of the finished image hidden within the stone. My beloved, I see the masterpiece within you. Every season of waiting has been removing fear, pride, doubt, and unnecessary burdens so that the beauty I placed inside you can be revealed. The process may feel uncomfortable, but it is never without purpose. There were times when you prayed for immediate rescue, and instead, I gave you quiet endurance. At first, you thought I had ignored your request. But later, you discovered that the endurance I placed within you became one of your greatest treasures. It strengthened your faith and deepened your compassion. It taught you how to stand firm when life became uncertain. You became someone who could comfort others because you had experienced my comfort in your own waiting. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. Every life unfolds according to a purpose that I have designed with perfect wisdom. The timing of another person's blessing is not the measure of my love for you. Just as every flower blooms in its own season, every promise unfolds at the moment I know is best. Some flowers bloom in early spring. Others reveal their beauty in late summer. Yet each one fulfills its purpose exactly as it was created to do. In the same way, your season is uniquely yours, and I have not delayed it by a single heartbeat. My beloved child, I know that waiting can tempt you to lose hope. It can make you question your worth or wonder whether your prayers have reached me. But let this truth settle deeply into your heart. Every prayer you have whispered has been heard. Every tear you have cried has been seen. Every moment you have chosen to trust me, even when you did not understand, has been precious in my sight. Nothing has been overlooked. Nothing has been forgotten. So do not despise this season simply because it asks you to be patient. There are treasures being formed within you that could not be created any other way. I am building a faith that does not depend on immediate results. I am giving you peace that does not disappear when circumstances change. I am preparing blessings that will arrive at exactly the right moment, carrying more joy than you can presently imagine. Hold my hand a little longer, my beloved. Lift your eyes beyond the calendar and beyond the clock. Trust the one who stands outside of time and yet walks beside you through every passing day. Your waiting has never been punishment. It has never been abandonment. It has always been preparation. And when the season I have prepared finally arrives, you will look back with a grateful heart and understand that not one single moment of waiting was ever wasted. My beloved child, fear has been speaking louder than truth, and I want you to recognize its voice so you no longer mistake it for reality. Fear has a way of arriving quietly at first. It slips into your thoughts through a single question, a single disappointment, or a single unexpected change. Then it begins to grow. It tells you that the future is unsafe. It convinces you that the worst outcome is the most likely one. It fills your mind with stories that have never happened, yet it makes them feel as though they already have. Little by little, it tries to steal the peace I placed within you. But hear me clearly, my beloved. Fear is not your guide. It has never known your future because I have never placed your future in its hands. Fear cannot see what I have prepared for you. It cannot understand the plans I have already set into motion. It speaks with confidence, yet it has no authority over your life unless you choose to believe its voice more than mine. Think about a traveler walking through a valley on a misty morning. The fog covers the path ahead, making every shadow appear larger than it truly is. A fallen branch looks like an impossible barrier. A harmless tree stump resembles a dangerous figure standing in the distance. The traveler becomes frightened, not because the path has changed, but because the fog has distorted what is already there. Then the sun begins to rise. As its light spreads across the valley, every false image disappears. The obstacles were never as terrifying as fear suggested. The road had been there all along. My beloved child, fear is like that fog. It clouds your vision without changing the truth. It magnifies problems while hiding my promises. It convinces you that you are surrounded by danger when, in reality, you are surrounded by my presence. The moment you allow my truth to rise like the morning sun, fear begins to lose its power. The circumstances may not change immediately, but your heart begins to see them through the light of my faithfulness instead of the darkness of uncertainty. You have spent precious moments imagining conversations that never happened, failures that never came, losses that never arrived, and disasters that existed only in fearful thoughts. I never created your mind to be a prison where worry repeats the same painful stories again and again. I created your mind to become a place where my peace can rest, where my promises can take root, and where hope can grow stronger than anxiety. There is a reason I keep reminding you not to be afraid. It is not because I ignore the challenges before you. I see every challenge more clearly than you ever could. I know the mountains, the storms, the questions, and the battles. Yet I also know something fear can never know. I know the ending before the beginning. I know every victory that my love has already prepared. I know every door that will open, every burden that will be lifted, every lesson that will become wisdom, and every tear that will one day be replaced with joy. That is why my voice remains calm while fear shouts. Truth never needs to panic because truth is secure. Imagine a little child caught in a violent storm. Thunder fills the sky, and rain beats against the windows. The child trembles, believing the world is falling apart. Then the father enters the room, kneels beside the child, and gently takes the small hands into his own. The storm outside has not stopped, but something inside the child changes. The fear begins to fade, not because the weather has suddenly become peaceful, but because the child trusts the one who is present. My beloved, I am that Father. I do not always calm every storm the moment you ask, but I always come near to calm your heart within it. Whenever fear tells you that you are not enough, remember that my strength has never depended on your perfection. Whenever fear whispers that you have waited too long, remember that my timing has never failed. Whenever fear insists that you are alone, remember that I have never stepped away from your side. Whenever fear says there is no way forward, remember that I have already walked ahead of you and prepared the path. Do not argue endlessly with fear. Turn instead toward my voice. Feed your heart with my promises more than you feed your mind with fearful possibilities. Every moment you choose to trust me instead of your anxiety, you weaken fear's grip and strengthen your faith. This is how peace grows, not because every question has been answered, but because you know the one who holds every answer. So today, my beloved child, I invite you to lay every fearful thought into my hands. You do not have to carry them any longer. Let my truth become louder than your doubts. Let my love speak more powerfully than your worries. Let my presence become more real than the uncertainty surrounding you. For I have never called you to live beneath the shadow of fear. I have called you to walk in the light of my unfailing love, where hope rises every morning, peace guards your heart, and truth always has the final word. My beloved child, I am already working behind closed doors. Even now, while you wonder why nothing seems to be changing, my hands are moving in ways your eyes cannot yet perceive. You have stood before doors that refused to open no matter how many times you knocked. You have prayed with sincerity, waited with hope, and trusted as best as you knew how. Yet the silence has tempted you to believe that nothing is happening. But I tell you with all the love of a faithful father, silence is not the same as inactivity. Just because you cannot hear the sound of my work does not mean my work has stopped. There are moments when the greatest miracles begin in complete stillness. Before the first bird sings at dawn, morning is already on its way. Before the flowers bloom, life is already awakening beneath the soil. Before a river becomes visible, countless drops of water have already gathered high in the mountains. Much of my work begins where no human eye can witness it. I delight in preparing blessings before anyone can take credit for them, because then you will know they came from my hand and not from human effort alone. You have asked me why certain prayers seem delayed. You have wondered why the answer has not appeared when your heart feels ready to receive it. My beloved, there are doors that require preparation on both sides. While I am preparing you, I am also preparing what awaits you. If I opened every door the moment you desired it, you might walk into a room that was not yet ready to hold the fullness of what I intended to give. My wisdom sees connections that your present understanding cannot reach. Imagine a master musician preparing for a great performance. Long before the audience enters the hall, the instruments are carefully tuned. Every string is adjusted. Every note is tested. The listeners never see those quiet moments behind the curtain, but they experience the beauty because of the preparation they never witnessed. My beloved child, I have been tuning circumstances behind the curtain of your life. I have been bringing hearts into alignment, ranging opportunities, removing hidden obstacles, and preparing moments that will unfold with a beauty you could never have orchestrated on your own. There are people you have not yet met whose lives will become part of your journey. There are conversations waiting for the exact right moment. There are opportunities that are slowly taking shape. There are answers traveling toward you even now. Though you cannot see them, they are no less real. My timing is never idle. Every passing day carries purpose. Every unseen movement is part of a design woven together by my perfect wisdom. Do not believe that a closed door always means rejection. Sometimes a closed door is my protection. Sometimes it is my invitation to grow. Sometimes it is simply my way of saying, not yet, because I have something better. If you could see every path that lies beyond each door, you would thank me for the ones I kept closed. You would understand that my love does not measure success by how quickly doors open, but by how faithfully I lead you toward what is truly good. There was a time when you believed losing something meant losing your future. You held tightly to plans that seemed perfect in your own understanding. When they slipped away, your heart broke because you thought your story had been ruined. Yet as the years passed, you began to see that what felt like an ending was quietly becoming a beginning. The path you never planned became the place where you discovered new strength, deeper compassion, and blessings you never imagined. What you once mourned eventually became one of the greatest testimonies of my faithfulness. That is how I often work. I do not merely replace what was lost. I redeem it. I take broken pieces and create something stronger than before. I take seasons of confusion and transform them into wisdom. I take tears and water fields where joy will one day grow. Nothing you have surrendered into my hands is ever wasted. Even the painful chapters become threads in the beautiful tapestry I am weaving throughout your life. My beloved child, while you stand outside wondering what is happening, do not lose heart. Keep walking faithfully with me. Keep choosing kindness when bitterness tempts you. Keep choosing hope when disappointment whispers otherwise. Keep praying even when answers seem delayed. Your faithfulness in the waiting is preparing your heart to recognize my blessings when they arrive. Remember that I have never asked you to force open doors that I have not opened. What I have prepared for you will not require fear to secure it. When the right door opens, my peace will walk with you through it. My favor will sustain you there. My strength will equip you for every responsibility that follows. So rest, my beloved. Release the need to understand every delay. Stop measuring my work by what your eyes can presently observe. Behind every closed door where my hand is moving, I am accomplishing far more than you can imagine. I am preparing answers that will arrive at the perfect time, blessings that will exceed your expectations, and a future that reflects not your fears, but my faithful love. Trust me a little longer, for what I have been building in secret will one day stand before you in the light, and you will know without doubt that I was working all along. My beloved child, Even your mistakes are being redeemed. I know there are moments from your past that still visit your thoughts. There are decisions you wish you could undo, words you wish you had never spoken, opportunities you wish you had recognized, and paths you wish you had never taken. Sometimes you look back with regret and wonder how different your life might have been if only you had chosen another direction. You replay old memories, hoping that somehow they will change. But the past cannot be rewritten by your worry. It can, however, be transformed by my grace. Do not believe the lie that one wrong decision has the power to erase the purpose I placed within you. I knew every chapter of your story before your first breath. I knew every victory you would celebrate, every vow you would walk through, every question you would ask, and every mistake you would make. Yet I still called you my beloved. I still chose to walk with you. My love was never built upon your perfection. It has always been built upon my unchanging heart. There are times when guilt speaks with such confidence that you mistake it for truth. It tells you that you have gone too far, failed too many times, or missed your opportunity forever. It points to yesterday as if yesterday holds more authority than my mercy. But guilt keeps your eyes fixed on what cannot be changed, while my grace lifts your eyes toward what I am creating today. I do not ask you to deny your mistakes. I ask you to place them into my hands, where they can become part of a testimony instead of a prison. Imagine a skilled artisan gathering pieces of broken pottery scattered across the floor. To anyone else, the fragments appear useless. They seem fit only to be thrown away. Yet the artisan patiently collects every broken piece and carefully joins them together with precious gold. The cracks are no longer hidden. Instead, they become part of the beauty of the finished work. The vessel is different than before, but it is also stronger, more unique, and more valuable because of the restoration it has received. My beloved child, this is how I work within your life. I do not discard you because you have been broken. I restore you with love so deep that even the places you thought were ruined become evidence of my faithfulness. Some of your greatest lessons have come through experiences you never would have chosen. You learned compassion because you experienced heartbreak. You discovered humility because you realized you could not carry life by your own strength. You found wisdom because certain choices taught you what truly matters. Although those seasons were painful, they shaped qualities within you that comfort and success alone could never have produced. There was a time when you believed failure meant your story had ended. You thought one setback had closed the door forever. But look closely at the path behind you. Have I not continued leading you? Have I not opened new opportunities where you expected only disappointment? Have I not strengthened you after moments when you believed you would never recover? Each time you thought everything was over, my grace quietly began writing another chapter. My beloved, I never waste the surrendered heart. When you bring your regrets to me with honesty, I do not respond with condemnation. I respond with healing. I remove the heavy chains of shame that keep you looking backward, and I invite you to walk forward with freedom. The enemy wants you to wear your mistakes as your identity. I call them chapters that my love is transforming. They are not your name. They are not your future. They are simply places where my mercy has chosen to shine. Remember the traveler who loses the path deep within a forest. As the daylight begins to fade, fear whispers that there is no way home. Yet a wise guide appears, not to scold the traveler for taking the wrong turn, but to gently lead the way back to safety. The guide knows every trail, every landmark, and every hidden path through the woods. My beloved child, I am that guide. When you lose your way, I do not abandon you. I come searching for you. I call your name with tenderness, and I lead you back step by step until hope begins to rise again. Do not allow regret to become louder than my promises. Your future is not determined by the worst moment of your past. It is shaped by the one who holds both your past and your future in loving hands. I can restore lost joy. I can rebuild broken confidence. I can bring beauty where you once saw only ashes. I can use the very experiences that cause you pain to bring encouragement and healing into someone else's life. Nothing surrendered to me remains without purpose. So release the burden you have carried for far too long. Stop punishing yourself for what my grace is ready to redeem. Stop believing that you must earn the love I freely give. Lift your head, my beloved child, and walk with me. Let yesterday remain where it belongs, and let today become the place where hope begins again. For I am not the God who leaves broken stories unfinished. I am the faithful Father who gathers every shattered piece, breathes new life into it, and creates a future more beautiful than you ever imagined possible. My beloved child, my peace is greater than your problem. I know how large your challenges appear when you stand in front of them. I know how easily your thoughts become consumed by what you cannot solve. There are moments when one unanswered question seems to overshadow every blessing I have already placed in your life. The burden feels so heavy that you begin to believe peace can only return after every problem disappears. But I want to show you a deeper truth. My peace does not wait for perfect circumstances. My peace enters the middle of imperfect circumstances and remains there with you. The world often tells you that peace is something you earn after everything has finally gone according to plan. It says peace comes when the bills are paid, when relationships are restored, when the doctor's report changes, when every uncertainty has been removed, or when every dream has come true. But if your peace depends on circumstances, it will always rise and fall with them. I offer you something far greater. I offer you a peace that remains steady because it rests in me instead of in the changing conditions around you. Imagine a mighty lighthouse standing along a rocky shoreline. The waves crash against the cliffs with tremendous force. Fierce winds howl through the night, and dark clouds cover the sky. Yet the lighthouse continues to shine. It does not argue with the storm. It does not fear the waves. It simply stands where it was built to stand, sending its light across the darkness so that lost sailors can find their way home. My beloved child, I am calling you to become like that lighthouse, not because you are strong on your own, but because my light within you is stronger than the storm around you. There have been seasons when you believed you had to understand everything before you could rest. You searched endlessly for explanations, convinced that if you could just solve every mystery, your heart would finally become calm. Yet even when some answers arrived, new questions quickly took their place. That is because peace was never meant to come from knowing everything. Peace comes from knowing me. When a little child rides through a storm in the arms of a loving father, the child does not need to understand the weather forecast or know how the road twists ahead. The child rests because the father's embrace feels safe. Confidence does not come from controlling maturity. It comes from trusting the one who is leading it. My beloved, this is the invitation I place before you today. Stop trying to carry the entire journey on your shoulders. Rest in my embrace. Allow my presence to become your place of safety. I know there are voices around you that constantly demand your attention. Some speak through frightening headlines. Others speak through painful memories. Some whisper through anxious thoughts that repeat the same worries over and over again. They all compete for the focus of your heart. But my voice does not compete by shouting. My voice comes with quiet authority. It gently reminds you that I have never failed you. It reminds you that every promise I have spoken remains true. It reminds you that my love has not changed simply because your circumstances have. There is a river that flows from my heart toward yours, and that river is filled with peace. It is not shallow or temporary. It does not dry up when difficulties increase. It flows steadily through every season of your life. Yet many times you stand beside that river while continuing to drink from the wells of fear, worry, and endless striving. My beloved child, come closer to me. Drink deeply from my peace instead. Let it wash over the tired places in your soul. Let it quiet the restless thoughts that have stolen your sleep. Let it remind you that you are held securely in hands that never tremble. Remember how many times I have carried you through situations you once believed were impossible. At the beginning of those valleys, you wondered how you would survive. Yet step by step, I gave you the strength you needed for each day. I did not always reveal the entire path at once, but I never failed to provide enough light for the next step. The same faithfulness that sustained you then is sustaining you now. My character has not changed. My promises have not weakened. My love has not grown tired. So today I ask you to exchange your burden for my peace. Place every fear into my hands. Lay every unanswered question at my feet. Release the pressure to solve what only I can solve. Let your heart become still enough to hear my voice above every other voice. I am not asking you to pretend that your problems do not exist. I am asking you to remember that they do not stand above me. My beloved child, no mountain is higher than my power. No valley is deeper than my love. No storm is stronger than my presence. As you continue walking with me, you will discover that the miracle I desire to give you is not only the answer you have been praying for. It is the unshakable peace that fills your heart even before the answer arrives. That peace is my gift to you, and no circumstance has the authority to take it away when your heart remains resting in me. My beloved child, your breakthrough is closer than you think. I know there have been days when hope felt distant, and every step seemed to require more strength than you believed you still possessed. You have looked at your circumstances and wondered if anything would ever change. You have prayed, waited, trusted, stumbled, stood up again, and continued walking even when the road seemed endlessly long. I have seen every step. I have counted every act of faith, even the ones that felt too small to matter. Nothing hath been unnoticed in my sight. Do not allow the length of your journey to convince you that you are far from your destination. Many travelers become discouraged just before reaching the place they have been seeking. They mistake the final stretch for another endless delay because they cannot yet see what lies just beyond the next hill. But I see it clearly. I know exactly where you are, and I know exactly how close you are to the answers I have been preparing. Think of the long night before the dawn. The darkest hour often arrives just before the first light begins to spread across the sky. Those who watch only the darkness may believe morning will never come, but the sunrise has already begun beyond the horizon. It does not ask permission from the night to appear. It simply arrives at the appointed time. My beloved child, many of my blessings unfold in the same way. While you are looking at the remaining darkness, my light is already moving toward you. There have been moments when you wanted to give up because you believe your efforts had accomplished nothing. Yet each prayer has drawn you closer to me. Each tear has watered the ground where hope is growing. Each act of obedience has become another stone in the foundation I have been building beneath your life. You may not see the complete picture today, but one day you will look back and realize that every difficult step was leading you toward something far greater than you imagined. Never measure your progress only by visible results. Some of the greatest victories begin inside the heart before they appear in the world around you. You have become stronger than you realize. You have learned to trust me in ways you never could have during easier seasons. Your compassion has deepened. Your faith has matured. Your heart has become more tender, more patient, and more aware of my presence. Those are not small changes. They are the evidence that my spirit has been working within you every day. Imagine a runner approaching the finish line after a long and exhausting race. Every muscle aches. Every breath feels heavy. The temptation to stop becomes stronger because the journey had been so demanding. Yet just ahead, beyond what tired eyes can fully recognize, the finish line is waiting. The runner's greatest mistake would be to quit only a few steps before the victory. My beloved, I do not want you to surrender now. Keep walking with me. Keep trusting me. Keep believing my promises even when your feelings try to tell you otherwise. I am already arranging moments that will surprise you with my goodness. Doors that seem permanently closed can open in a single moment. Hearts that appeared impossible to reach can suddenly soften. Opportunities can arrive from places you never expected. Healing can begin where pain once seemed permanent. Restoration can emerge from situations that look beyond repair. I am not limited by the obstacles that seem impossible to you. What appears to be the end of your strength often becomes the beginning of my greatest work. So lift your eyes once more. Do not allow discouragement to become the author of your story. Let my promises speak louder than your present circumstances. Walk one more step. Trust me one more day. Believe me one more time. I have not brought you this far to leave you standing outside the blessing I have prepared. Your breakthrough is not a distant dream. It is drawing nearer with every step you take in faith, and at the perfect moment, you will understand why I asked you to keep going. And now, my beloved, I invite those whose hearts have been touched by this message to become part of the work I am doing in the lives of many others. I say to you, as you sow, so shall you also reap, and let these words live within your heart as my personal promise to you. Every gift you release becomes a seed that carries my light into another weary soul searching for hope. If this message has strengthened your faith, let your hands become an answer to someone else's prayer through a super thanks, a YouTube membership, or a PayPal gift. The PayPal donation link is waiting for you in the video description, and you will also find it available through the QR code shown in this video. I place this invitation before you because I desire to reach hearts that are still waiting to hear my voice. Do not delay the seed that I have placed in your hands, for today's obedience can become tomorrow's harvest in countless lives. As you give with a willing heart, I will pour fresh peace, renewed strength, and unexpected provision into your own journey. I will remember every act of generosity offered in love, and I will use it to spread hope where despair once lived. Rise now, and let your giving become a living testimony that my light will continue reaching the nations, one heart at a time. My beloved child, remember the times I already carried you. When your heart begins to wonder whether I will remain faithful, look back before you look ahead. The memories of my goodness are not meant to keep you living in the past. They are meant to strengthen your faith for the future. Every time I brought you through a difficult season, I was leaving behind a reminder that my love does not change. The same hands that lifted you then are still holding you now. There was a time when you believed you would never recover from the pain you were carrying. You thought the sorrow would remain forever, that the wound would never heal, and that joy had quietly slipped out of your life. Yet here you were. You have not walked that journey by your own strength. Every breath you took, every morning you found the courage to rise, every small step forward that seemed impossible at the time was supported by my presence. Even when you felt weak, my strength quietly became your own. Do you remember the prayers you once whispered through tears? Some of those prayers have already been answered, though perhaps not in the way you expected. There were moments when you asked me to remove every difficulty immediately, but instead I gave you the strength to endure until the difficulty passed. Looking back now, you can see that the strength I gave you became a greater gift than the quick escape you had requested. It changed you who you became, and taught you that you were never walking alone. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle for the very first time. The child believes every movement depends entirely on personal effort. Small hands grip the handlebars tightly. Every wobble feels frightening. Yet just behind the child, the loving father keeps one steady hand on the seat. The child cannot always feel that hand, especially when confidence begins to grow, but the father never moves far away. Whenever balance is lost, the father reaches out before the fall becomes too great. My beloved, many times in your life you thought you were standing entirely on your own. You believed your survival depended only upon your own wisdom, your own determination, or your own strength. But all along, my hand was supporting you in ways you could not fully recognize. There have been dangers I quietly guided you around. There were moments when one small decision changed the direction of your life, and you never realized how significant that change truly was. There were people I removed from your path because they would have led you away from peace. There were opportunities I withheld because they would have burdened your heart. There were delays that frustrated you but ultimately protected you. Looking back, you may begin to see pieces of my faithfulness that once seemed hidden. Sometimes you ask me for a sign that I am still with you. My beloved child, one of the greatest signs is your own story. You are living proof that my grace has sustained you. There were seasons that should have overwhelmed you, yet they did not. There were burdens that seemed impossible to carry, yet somehow you continued moving forward. There were nights when you thought hope had disappeared forever, yet the morning still arrived. Those were not coincidences. Those were quiet reminders that I have been faithfully carrying you every step of the way. Do not allow present difficulties to erase the memory of past victories. The enemy of your peace wants you to remember only your disappointments while forgetting every miracle, every answered prayer, every unexpected provision, and every moment when my love surrounded you. But I invite you to remember differently. Fill your heart with the evidence of my faithfulness. Let every past rescue become a promise that I will rescue you again according to my perfect wisdom. Remember the river that has carried a small boat through many seasons. Sometimes the waters are calm and smooth. At other times they become swift and difficult. Yet the river never stops moving toward its destination. In the same way, my faithfulness has continued flowing through every season of your life. There have been peaceful days and painful days, moments of celebration and moments of deep sorrow, but my presence has remained constant. I have never abandoned the journey we began together. My beloved child, if I carried you through the valleys of yesterday, why would I leave you in today's uncertainty? If I remained faithful when your tears were many, why would my love suddenly grow weary now? My character does not change with the seasons. My promises do not weaken because circumstances become difficult. I remain the same loving Father yesterday, today, and forever. So when fear begins to whisper that this trial will defeat you, answer it by remembering my faithfulness. When doubt tells you that you have reached the end of your strength, remember how many times my strength became enough. When anxiety insists that you are facing this battle alone, remember the countless moments when I quietly carried you without asking for recognition. Lift your eyes, my beloved. Let gratitude awaken fresh courage within your heart. The road ahead may still contain questions, but it also contains my presence. The future may still hold mysteries, but it is held securely in my hands. Just as I have carried you through every chapter behind you, I will continue carrying you through every chapter yet to come. My faithfulness has never failed you, and it never will. My beloved child, I'm strongest where you feel weakest. I know there are places within your heart that you try to hide, even from yourself. There are moments when you compare your strength to the strength of others, and you quietly wonder why your own journey feels so difficult. You look at your limitations and believe they disqualify you from the beautiful future I have promised. You see your fears, your failures, your weariness, and your doubts, and you ask yourself whether you will ever be enough. But listen closely to my voice. I have never measured your life by the strength you possess on your own. I have always measured it by the willingness of your heart to trust me. The world often teaches you that you must appear strong at all times. It tells you to hide your tears, to carry every burden alone, and to prove your worth by never needing help. Yet I have never asked you to live that way. I did not create you to bear the weight of life without me. I created you to walk beside me, to lean on me, and to discover that my strength becomes most visible when you stop pretending that you have all the answers. Think of a small branch connected to a mighty tree. The branch does not struggle to create life by itself. It does not force fruit to appear through endless effort. Everything it needs flows from the tree that supports it. As long as the branch remains connected, it receives nourishment, strength, and life. But if it tries to exist apart from the tree, it slowly withers. My beloved child, you were never meant to live disconnected from my presence. Your peace, your wisdom, your courage, and your hope all grow stronger as you remain close to me. The strength you seek is not something you manufacture. It is something you receive. There have been times when you apologized to me because you felt too weak to keep going. You thought I must be disappointed by your exhaustion. You believed I expected more from you than you could possibly give. But my beloved, I have never turned away from your weakness. I move toward it with compassion. I do not stand at a distance waiting for you to become stronger before I embrace you. I come close when you are weary. I stay beside you when your knees tremble. I lift you when your own strength begins to fail. Imagine a little child trying to carry a heavy basket that is far beyond small hands. The child struggles with determination, refusing to ask for help because of pride or fear of appearing weak. A loving father watches with tenderness, then kneels down and gently says, "Give it to me. I can carry what you cannot." The father does not speak those words to shame the child. He speaks them because his love is greater than the child's ability. My beloved, I have been saying those same words to your heart. Give it to me. Give me the fear that keeps you awake. Give me the guilt that keeps you looking backward. Give me the future you are trying so hard to control. Let me carry what has been crushing your spirit. Some of the strongest people in my eyes are not those who never cry or never struggle. They are the ones who continue trusting me even while tears fill their eyes. They are the ones who whisper prayers when they have no strength left for long speeches. They are the ones who choose hope while still walking through uncertainty. That kind of faith is precious because it is rooted not in human confidence but in my unchanging love. Do not be ashamed of the places where you feel fragile. Those are often the very places where my glory shines most brightly. When your plans fail, you discover my wisdom. When your strength runs out, you discover my power. When your heart is broken, you discover the depth of my comfort. Your weakness is not a wall separating you from me. It is a doorway through which my grace enters more deeply into your life. There is a beautiful rhythm I want you to learn. Instead of waking each morning asking, "Do I have enough strength for today?" begin asking, "Father, will you walk with me today?" The answer will always be yes. And if I am walking with you, then you already possess everything you truly need. You may not have every answer, but you have my wisdom. You may not know what tomorrow holds, but you have my presence. You may not feel fearless, but you have my peace. These gifts are greater than any confidence the world can offer. My beloved child, stop judging yourself so harshly. Stop believing that your worth rises and falls with your performance. You are precious because you are mine. Your value was never earned by your accomplishments, nor can it be diminished by your struggles. My love does not become stronger on your best days or weaker on your hardest ones. It remains constant, faithful, and unshakable. So come to me just as you are. Bring me your tired heart, your unanswered questions, your hidden fears, and your trembling faith. Do not wait until you feel stronger before you draw near. Draw near now, and let my strength become your strength. Let my peace steady your heart. Let my love remind you that you have never been expected to carry life alone. For I am your faithful Father, and where your strength reaches its limit, mine has only begun. My beloved child, your story is still being written. Do not believe that the chapter you are living today is the final chapter of your life. I know there are moments when the pages before you seem filled with questions instead of answers, with tears instead of celebration, and with waiting instead of fulfillment. You have looked at your present circumstances and quietly wondered, is this how my story ends? But I tell you with the certainty of my everlasting love, it does not end here. I am still writing. My hand has never left the pages of your life. You often judge the entire story by the chapter you are currently reading. When pain lasts longer than expected, you begin to think pain is the whole story. When disappointment visits your heart more than once, you start believing disappointment will always be your companion. But no one understands a book by reading only one chapter. The most difficult moments often prepare the reader for the beauty that follows. My beloved, I see every chapter at once. I know how each page connects to the next. I know how every sorrow will eventually reveal a deeper purpose. Trust the author who already knows the ending. Imagine someone weaving a beautiful tapestry. From underneath, all that can be seen are loose threads crossing in every direction. The colors seem tangled. The pattern appears confusing. There is no obvious beauty in what the eyes observe from below. But the weaver is not looking from underneath. The weaver sees the finished design from above. Every thread has its place. Every color serves a purpose. Every knot contributes to the masterpiece. My beloved child, many times you have judged your life from underneath the tapestry. You have seen only tangled threads and wondered whether anything beautiful could ever come from them. But I am the weaver, and I see the finished work. I have not misplaced a single thread of your story. There were chapters you can skip. There were seasons that seemed too painful, too lonely, or too confusing to understand. If it had been your choice, you would have turned the page much sooner. Yet even those chapters have shaped your heart in ways that joyful seasons alone never could. They taught you compassion when others were hurting. They taught you patience when answers were delayed. They taught you to depend on me instead of your own understanding. Those lessons have become treasures hidden within your heart. Do not compare your story with someone else's. Every book has its own purpose, its own timing, and its own message. Some stories begin with dramatic victories. Others begin with quiet struggles. Some journeys take unexpected turns before arriving at places of incredible beauty. The pace of another person's life has never been the measure of my plan for you. I have written your story with loving intention, and every chapter unfolds according to wisdom that reaches far beyond your present understanding. There may be moments when you cannot understand why certain pages contain sorrow. You may wonder why some dreams ended before they began, or why certain prayers seem to remain unanswered. But remember this, my beloved, I never write meaningless chapters. Even the pages stained with tears carry purpose. They reveal my faithfulness in ways that seasons of comfort never could. One day, when you look back through the completed story, you will see connections that are invisible to you today. You will recognize how one closed door guided you toward a better one. You will understand how one painful goodbye made room for a joyful new beginning. You will discover that my wisdom was quietly arranging every detail while you believed nothing was happening. Think of a traveler climbing a great mountain. Halfway up the trail, the view is often blocked by rocks, trees, and steep paths. The traveler may become discouraged because the destination still seems far away. But the guide walking beside the traveler knows that just beyond the next bend, the view opens into breathtaking beauty. The guide does not lose confidence simply because the traveler cannot yet see the summit. My beloved child, I am your guide. I know exactly where this journey is leading. Do not mistake the difficulty of the climb for the absence of purpose. There are still people you will encourage through your testimony. There are still prayers I will answer in ways that will leave you in awe. There are still blessings waiting for their appointed season. There are still moments of laughter that will replace tears you once thought would never end. There are still dreams I have placed within your heart that are waiting to bloom at the right time. The pages ahead are filled with my goodness, even though you cannot yet read them. So do not close the book because one chapter has been difficult. Do not surrender your hope because one season has tested your faith. Stay with me. Keep turning the pages one day at a time. Walk forward with quiet confidence, knowing that the author of your life has never abandoned the story. I am still writing with hands full of mercy, wisdom, and unfailing love. My beloved child, your future has not been canceled by your past. Your present struggle has not erased my promises. The ink of my grace is still flowing across the pages of your life. Every sunrise is another sentence. Every step of faith is another paragraph. Every act of trust becomes another beautiful line in the story I am creating. And when the time comes for you to look back on the journey, you will see that every chapter, even the hardest ones, was leading you toward the beautiful ending I had lovingly prepared from the very beginning. My beloved child, every closed door protected you, even when it broke your heart. I know there are memories that still make you wonder what might have been. You remember the opportunity that slipped away, the relationship that ended, the dream that never unfolded as you expected, or the path that suddenly disappeared beneath your feet. At the time, you believed you were losing something that could never be replaced. You questioned my silence. You wondered why I allowed the door to close when you had prayed so earnestly for it to open. But I ask you now to see those moments through my eyes instead of through your disappointment. You can only see the door that closed. I could see everything that stood behind it. I saw the hidden burdens that would have weighed down your heart. I saw the pain that had not yet revealed itself. I saw the paths that would have taken you far from the peace I desired for you. Because my love reaches beyond this moment and into every tomorrow, I chose to protect you in ways you could not yet understand. Think of a shepherd leading a flock across a wide valley. One path appears smooth and inviting. The grass looks green, and the journey seems easy. Yet beyond the next hill lies dangerous ground that the sheep cannot see. Another path is steeper and more difficult, winding around rocky places and requiring greater patience. The sheep naturally want the easier road, but the shepherd gently leads them away from it. The flock may not understand why, but the shepherd has already seen the danger hidden beyond the hill. My beloved child, I have been that shepherd throughout your life. Many times I gently redirected your steps, not to deny you joy, but to preserve it. There were prayers you believed went unanswered. Yet what you called unanswered was often my loving answer spoken in a different way. Sometimes my answer was, "Not yet, because I am preparing something greater." Sometimes it was, "No, because this will not bring the peace you are seeking." And sometimes it was, "Trust me because I can see what you cannot." My answers have always been guided by love, never by indifference. There was a season when you stood before a closed door with tears in your eyes. You felt rejected. You questioned your worth. You wondered if you had somehow failed me. But my beloved, your worth has never been determined by a door opening or closing. Your value has always rested in the simple truth that you are my beloved child. No opportunity can increase that value, and no disappointment can take it away. Imagine a young child reaching toward a glowing flame because it appears beautiful. The child cannot understand the danger hidden behind its warmth. A loving father quickly pulls the child's hand away. For a brief moment, the child may cry, believing something wonderful has been taken away. Yet the father knows that the temporary disappointment has prevented lasting pain. My beloved, there have been moments when I lovingly pulled your hand away from what looked beautiful because I alone could see the wounds it would have left behind. As time has passed, have you not already begun to understand some of the doors I closed? There were people you once thought you could never live without, yet later you realized their absence made room for healthy relationships. There were opportunities you desperately wanted, yet later you discovered they would have drained your peace instead of fulfilling your purpose. There were delays that frustrated you, yet those very delays prepared you for blessings you could never have received earlier. These are quiet reminders that my wisdom has always been working on your behalf. Do not allow disappointment to become bitterness. Bitterness blinds the heart to the blessings that are still ahead. Gratitude, however, opens your eyes to my faithfulness, even in seasons you once struggled to understand. When you begin thanking me not only for the doors I opened, but also for the ones I lovingly kept shut, your heart will discover a deeper freedom. You will stop measuring my goodness by whether everything happens according to your plans, and begin recognizing my goodness in the way I faithfully guide your life. There are still doors waiting to open before you. They are not delayed because I have forgotten you. They are being prepared with perfect care. When those doors open, you will not need to force your way through them. You will walk with my peace instead of your anxiety. You will recognize my hand because what I give does not steal your peace. It strengthens it. What I prepare does not leave you empty. It fills your life with purpose. So release the grief you still carry over opportunities that never came to pass. Place every disappointment into my hands. Stop asking whether you lost something irreplaceable, and begin trusting that I have never taken away anything without knowing how I would faithfully provide what was truly needed. My plans for you have never depended upon one door, one person, one opportunity, or one moment. My purpose is far greater than any single chapter. My beloved child, every closed door has been part of my loving guidance. Some protected you from harm. Some redirected you toward greater blessings. Some taught you lessons that could not have been learned any other way. One day you will stand where I have been leading you all along, and with a heart full of gratitude, you will finally understand that what once felt like rejection was actually one of the greatest expressions of my faithful love. My beloved child, my timing never arrives late. I know there have been moments when you looked at the passing days and wondered if I had forgotten the promises I placed in your heart. You watched calendars change, seasons come and go, and prayers remain unanswered longer than you expected. The waiting tested your patience. The silence challenged your faith. You asked yourself why others seemed to be moving forward while you remained in the same place. But listen carefully to my voice. I have never been late. I have never missed the perfect moment. I have never been delayed by the circumstances that trouble your heart. You measure time by clocks and calendars. I measure time by purpose. You count the days that have passed, but I see the life that is being prepared. Every moment has meaning in my hands. Every delay that confuses you is connected to a greater plan that is unfolding with perfect wisdom. What feels slow to you is often the steady work of my love, shaping every detail into something far more beautiful than you can presently imagine. Think about the changing seasons. Winter does not become spring because the flowers demand it. Summer does not arrive because the trees become impatient. Every season follows the rhythm that I established from the beginning. If spring arrived too early, delicate blossoms would be destroyed by the final frost. If fruit appeared before it had fully matured, it would never carry the sweetness it was created to have. Nature quietly trusts the timing I have woven into creation. My beloved child, your life also unfolds according to a rhythm that my wisdom has designed. You are not forgotten simply because your season has not yet changed. There have been blessings you asked me for years ago that still have not appeared in the way you imagined. Perhaps you have wondered if your prayers were somehow lost. But no prayer offered with a sincere heart is ever lost. I have carried every word. I have held every tear. I have remembered every hope you placed before me. While you were waiting for the answer, I was preparing both the blessing and the heart that would receive it. Had I answered too quickly, you might not have recognized the gift for what it truly was. Had I opened the door too soon, you might have stepped into responsibilities that would have overwhelmed you instead of strengthening you. Imagine a master gardener caring for a vineyard. Each vine grows at a different pace. Some branches require careful pruning before they can produce healthy fruit. Others need extra time to deepen their roots. The gardener never becomes frustrated because one vine blooms later than another. The gardener knows exactly what each plant needs. My beloved, I am tending the vineyard of your life with that same loving care. I do not compare you with anyone else because I created you with a purpose unlike any other. The pace of another person's journey is not the pattern for yours. How often have you looked back and realized that what once felt like an unbearable delay eventually became a hidden blessing? There were relationships you wished had happened sooner, but later you understood that your heart needed healing first. There were opportunities you desperately wanted, yet in time you discovered you were not fully prepared to carry them. There were dreams you thought had disappeared forever, only to see them return in ways greater than you originally imagined. Looking back, you can now recognize my fingerprints on moments that once seemed confusing. Do not let impatience steal the joy of today's blessings. Many people spend so much time waiting for tomorrow that they fail to notice the gifts I have already placed in their hands today. There's beauty in this very moment. There is wisdom being formed inside you right now. There is strength quietly growing in places you cannot yet see. The waiting itself is becoming part of the blessing because it is teaching you to trust my heart even when you cannot trace my plans. Remember a child traveling with a loving father on a long journey. The child asks every few minutes, "Are we there yet?" The father smiles because he already knows the destination. He understands that stopping too early would leave the journey unfinished. The child grows impatient because only the destination is visible in the imagination. The father remains peaceful because he knows every mile is bringing them closer. My beloved child, you have often asked me, "Is it time yet?" I understand your longing, and I never grow tired of your questions. But I also know the destination I have prepared for you. I know the exact moment when every piece will come together with beauty and purpose. There is no need to rush what my hands are carefully building. A house with a weak foundation cannot stand when storms arrive. A tree with shallow roots cannot endure strong winds. In the same way, blessings received before their proper season often become burdens instead of gifts. Because I love you deeply, I refuse to give you less than my very best. I would rather ask you to wait a little longer than allow you to receive something before the right time. So rest your heart, my beloved. Release the pressure to force open doors that I have not yet opened. Stop believing that your future is slipping away with every passing day. Nothing that I have promised you can be stolen by time. What I have prepared remains secure in my hands. Walk faithfully through this season. Embrace the lessons of today. Trust that every sunrise is bringing you closer to the moment I have already appointed. When that moment arrives, you will not say that I was late. You will look back with grateful eyes and understand that every delay protected you, every season prepared you, and every step was guided by my perfect love. Then your heart will finally rest in the beautiful truth that my timing has always been, and always will be, exactly right. My beloved child, I am teaching you to walk without fear. This lesson is not learned in a single day, nor is it mastered in one moment of courage. It is learned one step at a time, one choice at a time, and one act of trust at a time. Every day you choose to place your hand in mine instead of allowing fear to lead you, your heart grows stronger. You may not notice the change immediately, but I see it. I see the quiet victories that no one else applauds. I see the moments when you decide to keep moving forward even though uncertainty still surrounds you. Those moments are precious to me because they reveal that your trust is becoming deeper than your fear. Fear has tried to convince you that safety comes from controlling every outcome. It tells you to predict every possibility, prepare for every disappointment, and never take a step unless you can see the entire path ahead. But if you waited until every question was answered, you would never move at all. Fear promises protection, yet it often builds invisible walls around your heart. It keeps you from embracing the life I have prepared because it constantly whispers that something terrible is waiting just beyond the next step. That is not how I lead you. I lead you with peace, not panic. I guide you with wisdom, not confusion. I invite you to trust my voice even when the road ahead disappears into the distance. I have never asked you to walk by certainty in your own understanding. I have asked you to walk by confidence in my unchanging love. Imagine a young child learning to cross a small stream by stepping across smooth stones. The child looks down at the flowing water and begins to tremble. Each stone feels too small. The distance seems too great. The child imagines slipping, falling, and being carried away by the current. Then the father stretches out his hand and says, "Do not look at the water. Look at me." As the child fixes those small eyes on the father's face instead of the rushing stream, courage begins to replace fear. The stones have not changed. The water has not stopped flowing. What has changed is where the child's attention rests. My beloved, I have been saying the same words to your heart. Do not keep your eyes fixed on everything that could go wrong. Lift your eyes toward me. When your attention remains on your fears, they seem larger than they truly are. But when your attention rests upon my faithfulness, your fears begin to shrink in the light of my presence. There have been many times when you believed you could not take another step, yet somehow you did. You thought your strength had reached its limit, but I quietly renewed it. You believed your courage had disappeared, yet I placed enough peace within you to keep moving. You may have called it determination. I call it my grace carrying you through another day. Do you remember the first challenge that once seemed impossible? At the time, it felt overwhelming. You questioned whether you would survive it. But today, the challenge has become part of your testimony. What once frightened you no longer holds the same power because I walked with you through it. In the same way, many of the fears you carry today will one day become reminders of my faithfulness. The mountains that seem so high now will eventually stand behind you, not before you. Walking without fear does not mean you will never feel uncertainty. It means uncertainty will no longer become the master of your decisions. Courage is not the absence of trembling. Courage is choosing to trust me while your heart is still learning to rest. Every time you choose faith over fear, even in the smallest ways, you strengthen the foundation upon which your life is being built. There are dreams I have placed inside your heart that fear has tried to silence. There are opportunities I have prepared that fear has urged you to avoid. There are relationships that fear has told you not to trust, prayers it has told you not to pray, and hopes it has told you not to hold. Fear always asks you to settle for less because it cannot imagine the future I have already prepared. But I did not create you to spend your life hiding from possibilities. I created you to walk boldly in the purpose I lovingly designed for you. Remember the eagle soaring high above the mountains. It does not fear the wind. It uses the very currents that seem threatening to rise even higher. The storm that frightens smaller birds becomes the very force that lifts the eagle closer to the sky. My beloved child, the challenges you face today do not have to become the reason you stop moving. In my hands, they can become the very things that strengthen your faith, deepen your wisdom, and draw you closer to me than ever before. So when fear knocks on the door of your heart tomorrow, do not invite it to stay. Welcome my peace instead. When anxious thoughts begin to fill your mind, answer them with the truth of my promises. When uncertainty whispers that you are alone, remember that my hand has never released yours. I have walked with you through every valley, every storm, every disappointment, and every victory. I will not abandon you now. Take the next step, my beloved. Not because you know everything that lies ahead, but because you know the one who walks beside you. Let each step become an act of worship. Let each moment of trust become another declaration that fear no longer rules your heart. I am leading you forward with perfect love, and perfect love has always been stronger than fear. My beloved child, the storm is not your destination. I know that where you stand today may feel surrounded by strong winds and dark clouds. You hear the thunder of uncertainty. You feel the rain of disappointment. You wonder how much longer you must endure the battle before the skies become clear again. There are moments when the storm seems so endless that you begin to believe it has become your permanent home. But listen carefully to my voice. A storm is a season, not a destination. It is something you pass through with me. It is never the place where I intend for you to remain. When you are standing in the middle of heavy rain, it is difficult to imagine the warmth of the sun. Your vision becomes limited by what surrounds you. Every direction appears covered by the same gray sky. Yet above every storm, the sun continues to shine. The clouds may hide it from your eyes, but they cannot remove it from the heavens. In the same way, my love continues shining over your life even when your present circumstances make it difficult to feel my presence. My faithfulness has never been hidden from reality. It has only been hidden from your temporary view. Think about a sailor crossing a vast sea. The calm waters are enjoyable, but they do not teach the sailor how to navigate. It is during the storms that wisdom grows. The sailor learns where to place trust, how to remain steady, and how to recognize the guiding light even in darkness. Without the storm, those lessons would never become part of the sailor's life. My beloved child, I do not delight in your struggles, but I never allow them to be meaningless. Every storm carries opportunities to deepen your faith, strengthen your character, and reveal my presence in ways that peaceful seasons often cannot. There have been storms you never thought would end. You prayed for immediate rescue, yet the rain continued. You asked me to remove the trial, yet instead I remained beside you within it. At the time, you wondered why I did not calm the wind immediately. But look back now. Can you see how much stronger your faith has become? Can you see how much more compassionate your heart has grown? Can you recognize the wisdom that was born from those difficult days? What once seemed like endless suffering has become part of the testimony that now gives others hope. Remember that trees with the deepest roots are often those that have endured the strongest winds. Gentle breezes do not drive roots deep into the earth. Storms do. As the winds push against the tree, the roots reach farther down, searching for strength that cannot be shaken. My beloved, your roots have been growing deeper into my love through every challenge you have faced. The storms have not been destroying you. They have been establishing you. They have been teaching you to stand firmly upon my promises instead of the shifting emotions of the moment. There are times when you ask me to explain every reason behind your pain. I understand those questions because I know the ache within your heart. Yet some answers can only be understood after the storm has passed. While you are in the middle of the rain, your attention is focused on surviving the moment. But when the skies finally clear, you begin to notice the growth that quietly took place. You see the strength you never knew you possessed. You recognize blessings that were invisible during the struggle. You discover that I was working even when everything around you appeared uncertain. Imagine a rainbow stretching across the sky after a powerful storm. The rainbow does not erase the memory of the rain, but it reminds every heart that the storm did not have the final word. The beauty appears because light shines through what once seemed filled only with darkness. My beloved child, I am bringing my light into your story. The pain you have endured will not be the final sentence. My grace, my restoration, and my faithfulness will speak louder than every trial you have faced. Do not build your identity around your storm. You are not the fear you have experienced. You are not the heartbreak you have endured. You are not the failure that once discouraged you. You are my beloved child, and your identity is rooted in my love, not in your circumstances. Storms may visit your life, but they do not define your future. My promises do. So keep walking, even if the wind is still blowing. Keep trusting, even if the rain has not yet stopped. Keep lifting your eyes toward me when the clouds seem heavy. I am guiding you through every step. I know where the clear skies begin. I know where the peaceful waters wait. I know the beauty that is waiting beyond this difficult season. My beloved child, do not lose heart because of what you see today. The storm has an ending, even if you cannot yet see it. The darkness has a morning waiting beyond it. The tears of joy prepared on the other side. I have never abandoned anyone in the middle of the storm, and I will not abandon you. Hold my hand a little longer. Trust my voice a little deeper. Soon you will look back and realize that what once seemed like the end of your strength became the place where you discovered the endless strength of my love. The storm was never your destination. I always intended to lead you safely into the peace that has been waiting for you all along. My beloved child, I never forgot my promise. There may be days when your heart whispers, perhaps it was only my imagination. Perhaps the hope I held was never real. Perhaps I waited too long, and the promise has passed me by. I know those thoughts because I have heard every silent question you have carried. I know how discouragement tries to rewrite the story I have spoken over your life. But listen to me with the quiet confidence of a child listening to a loving father. My promises do not fade with time. They do not weaken because the journey becomes difficult. They do not disappear because you have grown tired of waiting. What I have spoken, I continue to watch over with unwavering love. You live in a world where promises are sometimes broken. People make commitments they cannot keep. Circumstances change. Intentions fade. Trust is wounded. Because of those experiences, it can become difficult to believe that a promise will truly endure. But I am not limited by human weakness. I do not speak carelessly. I do not offer hope only to take it away. Every promise I place within your heart is carried by my faithfulness, not by the uncertainty of the world around you. Think of the stars that appear each night. Long before you were born, they shone across the heavens. Generation after generation has looked up and found them waiting in the same place. Clouds may hide them for a season, but the stars have never stopped shining. Their light continues even when it cannot be seen. My promises are like those stars. There are moments when the clouds of fear, disappointment, or delay cover your vision, making you wonder if my word has disappeared. Yet behind those temporary clouds, my promise remains exactly where it has always been. There were seasons when you thought I had become silent. You prayed, listened, and waited, yet the answer seemed far away. My beloved, silence does not mean forgetfulness. A musician pauses between movements, not because the music has ended, but because the next part is being prepared. A painter steps back from the canvas, not because the masterpiece is abandoned, but because every detail must come together with care. In the same way, there have been moments when my quietness was not the absence of my work. You were the evidence of my careful preparation. Do you remember the promises I have already fulfilled in your life? There were dreams you once thought impossible that eventually became reality. There were prayers that seemed unanswered until suddenly everything changed. There were doors that opened after years of waiting. At the time, you could not imagine how they would happen, yet my hand quietly brought every piece together. Those memories are not accidents. They are reminders of my character. If I have remained faithful before, why would I change now? Sometimes the promise itself changes you more than its fulfillment ever could. While you wait, your heart learns patience. Your faith becomes deeper. Your dependence upon me grows stronger. You begin to seek my presence more than the gift itself. And when the promise finally arrives, you receive it with gratitude instead of pride because you know it was my hand that brought it to pass. Waiting has a way of preparing your heart to treasure the blessing rather than taking it for granted. Imagine an architect designing a magnificent bridge across a wide river. Before anyone can cross it, deep foundations must be laid beneath the water where no one can see them. Day after day, workers labor beneath the surface. Those watching from a distance may wonder why nothing seems to be happening. They cannot see the hidden work that will one day support thousands of travelers. My beloved child, many of my promises require hidden foundations. I have been building beneath the surface of your life, strengthening what cannot yet be seen so that what is eventually revealed will stand firm through every season. Do not confuse delay with denial. I know the difference, even when you cannot. There are blessings that would have become burdens if they had arrived too soon. There are responsibilities that would have overwhelmed you before your heart was ready. There are joys that become even sweeter because they arrive in the fullness of my timing. I have not forgotten what I placed within your spirit. I have been protecting it, nurturing it, and preparing the right season for it to bloom. My beloved child, I remember every prayer you have whispered. I remember the promises that brought tears to your eyes because they seemed so beautiful. I remember the moments when hope began to fade, and I gently sustained you without you even realizing it. My memory does not fail. My love does not grow weary. My commitment to you has never been shaken. So stop measuring my faithfulness by the speed of visible results. Instead, measure it by the unchanging nature of my heart. I am the same loving Father who carried you through yesterday, who walks beside you today, and who has already prepared tomorrow. The promise I gave you has not been abandoned. It is alive within my purpose, moving toward its appointed moment with perfect precision. Lift your eyes once again, my beloved. Refuse to let disappointment become the final voice you hear. Let my promises rise above every doubt. Hold on to hope even when your hands feel tired. I have never forgotten what I spoke over your life, and I never will. The day is coming when what you have trusted me for will stand before you, and you will smile through grateful tears, knowing that every moment of waiting only revealed how completely faithful I have always been. My beloved child, stop measuring my work by your clock. I know how often you watch the passing days and wonder why the answers you long for have not yet appeared. You count the weeks, the months, and sometimes even the years. You compare today's reality with yesterday's expectations, and when they do not match, discouragement quietly begins to settle into your heart. You ask, why is this taking so long? But I ask you a different question. What if the measure of my work has never been the speed of its arrival, but the perfection of its purpose? Time feels very different to you than it does to me. You see moments one after another, each one carrying its own questions and uncertainties. I see the entire journey at once. I see the beginning, the middle, and the beautiful ending all together. What appears delayed from where you stand is perfectly on schedule from where I stand. There has never been a single second when my plan for your life has fallen behind. Imagine standing in a wide valley, surrounded by tall mountains. From the valley floor, your vision is limited. You can only see what is directly in front of you. The winding road disappears around every curve, leaving you uncertain about what comes next. But imagine standing with me on the highest mountain peak. From there, the entire landscape is visible. Every river, every path, every village, every forest, and every destination can be seen at once. I do not ask you to understand everything from the valley. I ask you to trust the one who sees from the mountaintop. There have been many moments when you believed something needed to happen immediately because your understanding was limited to the present. But I was protecting your future. You wanted the answer today because today's need felt urgent. I was preparing tomorrow because tomorrow's purpose mattered even more. My beloved, I never ignore your present pain, but I also refuse to sacrifice your future for temporary relief. My love is too complete to focus only on the moment you are living. It reaches into every tomorrow that you cannot yet imagine. Think of a master watchmaker carefully assembling the tiny pieces inside a beautiful clock. Every gear, every spring, and every delicate movement must be placed with exact precision. If even one piece is forced into place before the right moment, the entire watch loses its ability to keep perfect time. The one watching may grow impatient, wondering why the work seems so slow. But the watchmaker understands that rushing would ruin the masterpiece. My beloved child, I am carefully arranging the details of your life with even greater precision. Every conversation, every opportunity, every lesson, every relationship, and every season is being placed exactly where it belongs. Many times you have mistaken quiet seasons for empty seasons. You believed nothing was happening because nothing dramatic could be seen. Yet some of my greatest works happen in stillness. The roots of a mighty oak tree grow silently beneath the ground long before its branches stretch toward the sky. A child grows in the safety of the womb long before taking a first breath. Snow gathers quietly upon the mountains before becoming rivers that bring life to entire valleys. The deepest transformations often happen where no applause is heard and where no human eye can fully observe. My beloved, I know it is difficult to wait when your heart longs for change. I know the temptation to compare your journey with the lives of others. You see someone else celebrating a blessing and wonder why your own season has not yet arrived. But comparison will always rob you of peace because it asks you to measure your story against pages that were never written for you. I have never asked the rose to bloom like the lily, nor the cedar to grow like the olive tree. Each one becomes beautiful by fulfilling the purpose I designed for it. So it is with you. Your timing had been lovingly created for the unique calling I have placed upon your life. Do not become discouraged because your journey looks different from someone else's. What I am building in you cannot be compared to what I am building in another. Every life carries its own assignment, its own preparation, and its own season of harvest. I know exactly what your heart needs before each new chapter begins. I know which lessons will strengthen you and which experiences will prepare you for the blessings ahead. Nothing has been overlooked. When impatience begins to rise within you, return your thoughts to my faithfulness instead of the calendar. Remember how many times I have already surprised you with my goodness. Remember the prayers that seemed impossible until the day they were answered. Remember the moments when everything changed faster than you ever expected. Those memories are reminders that my timing is never controlled by human expectation. I can accomplish in one moment what years of striving could never achieve. So release the burden of watching the clock. Stop believing that every passing day means you are falling behind. You are not behind. You are exactly where I have lovingly led you. Walk faithfully through today without fearing tomorrow. Let each step become an act of trust rather than an attempt to hurry my work. I am never rushed, yet I am never late. I am never confused, yet I never stop caring. My wisdom is shaping every detail with perfect love. My beloved child, one day you will look back across the years and realize that every delay had a purpose, every season carried a lesson, and every moment was woven together by my faithful hands. Until that day comes, rest in this truth. You do not need to understand my timing to trust my heart. My heart has always been for you, and it always will be. My beloved child, I am turning ordinary days into miracles. You often imagine miracles as moments that arrive with thunder, bright light, and sudden change. You expect them to appear in ways that everyone can immediately recognize. But many of my greatest miracles begin quietly. They unfold in the ordinary rhythm of daily life, one faithful step at a time. They are hidden inside simple moments that seem too small to matter. Yet those very moments are where my love is patiently building something extraordinary. Do not underestimate the power of an ordinary day placed in my hands. Every sunrise is another opportunity for my grace to meet you. Every breath is evidence that my mercy has carried you into a new beginning. Every conversation, every act of kindness, every prayer whispered in faith, and every quiet decision to trust me becomes another thread in the beautiful work I am weaving throughout your life. What appears ordinary to you is often sacred to me because I know what those small moments will become. Think of a tiny stream flowing through a valley. At first, it seems insignificant. You could almost step across it without noticing. Yet year after year, that gentle stream shapes the landscape. It nourishes fields, gives life to forests, and slowly carves strong paths through solid rock. It does not accomplish these things through sudden force, but through faithful consistency. My beloved child, this is how I often work within your life. I transform you through daily grace rather than constant spectacle. I build lasting strength through steady faithfulness. There have been mornings when you woke up believing nothing had changed. You followed your usual routine, carried familiar responsibilities, and ended the day wondering whether any progress had been made. But while you were simply living the day before you, I was quietly working beneath the surface. I was healing wounds that had been hidden for years. I was softening your heart where bitterness once tried to take root. I was increasing your wisdom through experiences that seemed ordinary. I was teaching you patience in moments that felt repetitive. None of those changes happened all at once, but they happened nonetheless. Imagine a child standing beside a wall where the height is marked each year. The child looks in the mirror every morning and sees no noticeable difference. Growth seems invisible because it happens little by little. Yet when the child stands beside the wall months later, the marks reveal what daily observation could not. Growth has taken place all along. My beloved, your spiritual life often grows in the same way. Because you see yourself every day, you may fail to recognize how much I have changed you. But I see the difference. I see greater compassion where there was once impatience. I see deeper peace where anxiety once ruled. I see stronger faith where doubt once lingered. My work is real, even when it unfolds quietly. Do not despise the small beginnings I place before you. A single act of forgiveness can begin healing an entire family. One word of encouragement can lift a weary heart. One faithful prayer can become the beginning of a transformation that touches generations. You may never fully understand how far the ripple of one obedient moment can travel. That is why I ask you to remain faithful in the little things. I see what those little things are becoming. The world often celebrates dramatic victories while overlooking quiet faithfulness. But I delight in the heart that continues trusting me without demanding constant signs. I rejoice when you choose kindness after being hurt. I smile when you offer gratitude in the middle of waiting. I treasure the moments when you quietly help another person without seeking recognition. Those acts may appear small to human eyes, but in my kingdom they carry eternal value. There are miracles already unfolding around you that you have not yet recognized. The relationship slowly being restored is a miracle. The peace gradually replacing fear is a miracle. The wisdom growing through your waiting is a miracle. The strength that allows you to face another day when you once believed you could not is a miracle. My beloved child, miracles are not always interruptions to ordinary life. Many times they are my presence transforming ordinary life from within. Remember the sunrise. It does not burst across the sky in a single instant. First comes the faintest hint of light. Then the darkness slowly begins to retreat. Colors appear little by little until the whole world is filled with brightness. No one complains that the sunrise happened too gradually. Its beauty is found in the way it faithfully unfolds. In the same way, my blessings often arrive one ray at a time. The first glimpse may seem small, but if you remain patient, you will witness the fullness of what I have been preparing. So do not overlook today because you are waiting for tomorrow. Do not ignore the blessings already surrounding you because they seem ordinary. Open your eyes to my faithfulness in the little moments. Celebrate the quiet victories. Give thanks for the steady growth. Trust that every act of obedience, every prayer offered in faith, and every day lived in my presence is becoming part of a miracle far greater than you can presently imagine. My beloved child, continue walking with me through the ordinary days. They are not empty. They are filled with my unseen work. And one day you will look back across the season and realize that what seemed like a collection of simple moments was actually the pathway through which I performed one of the greatest miracles of your life. My beloved child, you are not fighting alone. I know there have been moments when the weight upon your shoulders felt so heavy that you wondered if anyone truly understood what you were carrying. You smiled when others were watching, but deep inside you felt isolated. You believed the battle belonged only to you. You looked around and saw people going about their lives while your own heart wrestled with questions that seemed impossible to answer. In those lonely moments, you may have believed that you had been left to face the storm by yourself. But my beloved, nothing could be further from the truth. From the very beginning, I have been standing beside you, and I have never taken a single step away. There is a difference between feeling alone and actually being alone. Feelings change with circumstances, but my presence does not. On days when joy fills your heart, I am with you. On nights when tears become your only language, I am with you. When you celebrate victories, I rejoice beside you. When you struggle to find hope, I quietly hold you together with a love that never grows weary. My presence is not determined by your emotions. It is anchored in my promise to remain faithful. Think of a child walking through a crowded marketplace while holding the hand of a loving father. The child hears unfamiliar voices, sees countless faces, and feels overwhelmed by the noise. For a moment, fear begins to rise. But then those small fingers tighten around the father's hand, and suddenly everything changes. The crowd is still there. The noise has not disappeared. The path remains busy. Yet peace begins to replace fear because the child remembers who is walking beside them. My beloved child, life often feels like that crowded marketplace. The voices of worry, doubt, disappointment, and uncertainty all compete for your attention. But I invite you to tighten your grip on my hand. My presence is greater than every voice that seeks to steal your peace. There have been battles I have already fought for you without your knowledge. There were dangers you never saw because I quietly turned them away. There were moments when circumstances shifted at exactly the right time, not by coincidence, but because my hand was already moving on your behalf. You have thanked me for many blessings, but there are countless others you have never recognized because they came in the form of unseen protection. I have been watching over you while you slept. I have been guiding your steps when you thought you were making your own way. I have been strengthening your spirit long before you realized how much strength you would need. Do not believe the lie that you must carry every burden by yourself. I never designed your heart to become a warehouse for anxiety. I never intended for your mind to be filled with endless worry. When I invite you to place your burdens into my hands, I am not asking you to ignore reality. I am inviting you to exchange the weight of fear for the freedom of trust. The burden may be too heavy for your shoulders, but it has never been too heavy for mine. Imagine two travelers crossing a long desert. One insists on carrying every supply alone. As the journey continues, exhaustion overtakes the traveler. Every step becomes more difficult than the last. The second traveler accepts the help of a strong companion who gladly shares the weight. Though both walk through the same desert, one arrives weary and discouraged while the other arrives with renewed strength because the burden was never carried alone. My beloved, too often you have tried to be the first traveler. You have believed you must solve every problem, answer every question, and carry every responsibility without help. But I have been inviting you all along to become the second traveler. Let me carry what you were never meant to bear. There are unseen ways I strengthen you every single day. Sometimes I place peace into your heart before you even realize how desperately you need it. Sometimes I send someone with a kind word at the exact moment your spirit is growing tired. Sometimes I close a door that would have led you into unnecessary pain. Sometimes I simply remain beside you in silence, giving you the courage to take one more step when you thought you had reached the end of your strength. My help is not always loud, but it is always faithful. My beloved child, remember that every battle has taught you something about my character. Every valley has revealed my compassion. Every storm has revealed my protection. Every delay has revealed my patience. Every answered prayer has revealed my faithfulness. Even the seasons you wished had never happened became places where you discovered that my love is far stronger than your greatest fears. So stop believing that you must face tomorrow by yourself. Stop carrying the pressure to know every answer before the next sunrise. Walk into each new day with the quiet confidence that I am already there. When your strength begins to fade, lean on me. When your heart grows weary, rest in my presence. When fear whispers that you are abandoned, answer it with a truth that my hand has never released yours. My beloved child, you have never walked one step alone, and you never will. Before you entered every battle, I was already standing beside you. While you fought through every difficult season, I was sustaining you. And beyond every challenge that still lies ahead, I am already waiting with the strength, wisdom, and peace you will need. Keep walking with me. You are not alone, and you never have been. My beloved child, my love is bigger than your past. I know there are memories you wish had never become part of your story. There are moments you still revisit in quiet hours, wondering if they have left permanent marks upon your heart. You remember the words you wish you had never spoken, the choices you wish you had never made, the opportunities you wish you had not missed, and the seasons that seemed to leave more scars than joy. Sometimes you believe those memories define who you are. Sometimes you fear that your past has become a wall too high for your future to overcome. But I tell you now with the tenderness of a loving father, your past may explain some of your pain, but it will never determine your destiny. My love speaks a greater truth over your life. Long before you understood the depth of my love, I already knew every chapter of your story. I knew every triumph and every failure. I knew every joyful celebration and every hidden sorrow. I knew the moments when you would walk with confidence and the moments when you would stumble. Yet my decision to love you was never based upon your flawless performance. It was based upon my unchanging nature. I do not begin loving you when you succeed, and I do not stop loving you when you fail. My love remains steady because it comes from my heart, not from your achievements. Many people spend years trying to outrun their past. They believe that if they stay busy enough or accomplish enough, the old memories will finally lose their voice. But the past cannot be healed by pretending it never happened. It is healed when it is brought into the light of my love. I do not ask you to carry your wounds in secret. I invite you to bring them to me. The places you are most afraid to reveal are often the very places where I desire to pour out my greatest healing. Imagine a clear mountain stream flowing through a valley after a long season of drought. The earth beside the stream has become dry, cracked, and lifeless. Yet as the water continues flowing, little by little the ground begins to soften. Tiny flowers appear where only dust once existed. Green life returns to places that seem permanently barren. A stream does not force the transformation overnight. It simply continues flowing with quiet faithfulness until the landscape is renewed. My beloved child, my love is like that living stream. Wherever it flows, healing begins. Wherever it is welcomed, hope returns. Wherever it remains, life is restored. There are voices that want to remind you only of your failures. They replay old mistakes as though they are the only chapters worth remembering. They whisper that you are disqualified, that you have wasted too much time, or that your best days have already passed. But those voices do not come from me. I never speak to imprison your heart. I speak to set it free. I remind you of who you are becoming, not only of where you have been. I call you by the name of my beloved child, not by the names your regrets have tried to give you. Think of a gardener who discovers a tree damaged by years of harsh storms. Some branches are broken. Others no longer bear fruit. To someone passing by, the tree may appear beyond saving, but the gardener sees hidden life still flowing through its roots. With patient hands, the gardener prunes away what is dead, nourishes the soil, and faithfully cares for the tree through every season. In time, fresh branches begin to grow. New leaves appear. Fruit returns. The tree does not become beautiful because its past disappeared. It becomes beautiful because it was lovingly restored. My beloved, I am that gardener. I have never looked at your life and seen a lost cause. I have always seen the new growth that my love is bringing forth. Do not believe that your scars make you less valuable. Some of the deepest compassion within your heart was born from the very places where you once suffered. The kindness you now show others often comes from knowing what it feels like to need kindness yourself. The wisdom you carry was shaped by lessons learned through difficulty. Even your tears have become part of the way I prepare you to comfort those who will one day cross your path. My beloved child, stop carrying shame as though it belongs to you forever. Shame keeps your eyes fixed on yesterday. My love invites your eyes toward tomorrow. Shame tells you to hide. My love calls you into the light. Shame says you must earn acceptance. My love reminds you that you have always been welcomed into my embrace. There is nothing you can bring to me that surprises me, and there is nothing you surrender to me that I cannot transform. So let the heavy chains of the past fall away. Release every regret that has kept your heart bound. Forgive yourself where I have already extended mercy. Trust that my grace reaches farther than your greatest mistake. Believe that my love is stronger than every wound you have carried. The story I am writing is not built upon the failures behind you, but upon the hope that lies before you. Lift your head, my beloved child, and walk forward without fear. You are not defined by broken moments, forgotten dreams, or painful memories. You are defined by my everlasting love. I am restoring what was wounded, renewing what became weary, and breathing fresh life into places you thought would never bloom again. My love is greater than your past, greater than your pain, and greater than every fear that tries to follow you. And because my love never fails, your future remains filled with hope beyond anything your past could ever take away. My beloved child, keep walking even when you cannot see. I know how difficult it is to take another step when the road ahead disappears into uncertainty. Your heart naturally longs for clear answers. You want to know how everything will unfold, where every path will lead, and when every prayer will be answered. You believe that if you could only see the entire journey, you would finally have peace. But I tell you this with the tenderness of a loving father. True peace is not found in seeing the whole path. It is found in walking beside the one who already knows it. There have been many moments when you wished I would reveal every detail of your future. You wanted certainty before obedience. You wanted complete understanding before trust. But if I showed you every chapter before you live it, you would miss the beautiful relationship I desire to share with you each day. I do not simply want to lead you to a destination. I want to walk with you through the journey. Every conversation we have along the way, every moment you choose to trust me, and every time you place your hand in mine deepens the bond between us. That relationship is one of my greatest gifts to you. Imagine a traveler making the long journey through a forest at night. The traveler carries only a small lantern. That lantern does not illuminate the entire forest. It does not reveal every bend in the road or every hill waiting in the distance. It simply provides enough light for the next few steps. If the traveler refuses to move until the entire path is visible, the journey will never begin. But with each faithful step forward, the light moves ahead as well, revealing exactly what is needed at the right moment. My beloved child, my guidance often comes like that lantern. I do not overwhelm you with every answer at once. I faithfully provide enough light for today. You sometimes mistake uncertainty for abandonment. When you cannot see clearly, you wonder whether I am still leading you. But my guidance does not depend upon your ability to see. It depends upon my faithfulness to lead. A child walking with a loving father through unfamiliar streets does not need to know every turn. The child simply trusts the father who has walked the path before. My beloved, I have already walked every tomorrow that worries your heart today. There is not a single moment waiting in your future where my presence has not already arrived. Remember how many times you have looked back and realized that the path became clear only after you had walked it. There were decisions that once filled you with uncertainty, yet later you understood why I guided you in that direction. There were delays that frustrated you until you saw how they protected you. There were unexpected changes that seemed painful at first, but eventually became some of the greatest blessings of your life. Your past is filled with reminders that my wisdom has always been greater than your understanding. Do not allow fear to convince you that uncertainty means danger. Many of the most beautiful moments of your life began with a step into the unknown. You did not know where certain friendships would lead. You did not know how certain opportunities would shape your future. You did not know that some of your greatest lessons would come through seasons you never would have chosen. Yet I was there in every moment, quietly directing your steps, turning ordinary paths into extraordinary testimonies. Think of a mountain climber ascending through thick clouds. There are times when the climber cannot see the summit. The clouds cover the view, making the destination seem distant and uncertain. But the mountain has not disappeared simply because it cannot be seen. The summit still waits above the clouds. The only way to reach it is to keep climbing one careful step at a time. My beloved child, some days your faith will feel like climbing through clouds. Do not stop because your eyes cannot yet see what I have already prepared. I know that waiting without full understanding can be exhausting. There are nights when questions seem louder than hope. There are mornings when uncertainty tries to steal your joy before the day even begins. But this is where trust becomes beautiful. Trust is not pretending that questions do not exist. Trust is choosing to believe that my love is greater than every unanswered question. Trust says, Father, I do not see the whole path, but I know you do. My beloved, every step you take in faith becomes another opportunity for me to reveal my faithfulness. I delight in surprising you with my goodness along the journey. Sometimes the answer appears just when you think all hope has faded. Sometimes the door opens after you have almost stopped knocking. Sometimes the blessing arrives in a form so different from your expectations that you realize my imagination is far greater than your own. That is why I ask you not to lose heart when the road seems unclear. So continue walking. Do not allow uncertainty to become an excuse for standing still. Take the step I have placed before you today. Speak the kind word. Offer the forgiveness. Pray the prayer. Choose hope instead of despair. Trust instead of fear. Obey instead of delaying. The next step is enough for now because I will provide the one after that when the time comes. My beloved child, you do not need to carry tomorrow before it arrives. Today is enough grace for today's journey. My light will continue shining exactly where you need it. My hand will remain stretched toward you. My voice will continue whispering peace into your heart. Keep walking, even when you cannot see, because every faithful step is bringing you closer to the beautiful future I have lovingly prepared, and I will never stop leading you until you safely arrive. My beloved child, I am building what you cannot yet imagine. There are dreams in your heart that you have placed before me, and there are blessings beyond those dreams that have not even entered your thoughts. You often ask me to fulfill the plans you have carefully created, but I see a picture much greater than the one your heart is able to imagine today. I do not say this to diminish your hopes. I say it because my love for you is too great to limit your future to only what you can presently understand. You have looked at the unfinished places in your life and wondered if anything beautiful could ever come from them. You have seen empty spaces where you expected fulfillment. You have seen delays where you expected progress. You have seen unanswered questions where you hoped for certainty. But my beloved, what appears unfinished to you is often still under construction in my hands. A masterpiece is not judged while the artist is still painting. A symphony is not understood by hearing only its opening notes. The beauty of my work is often hidden until the proper moment arrives. Imagine a skilled builder constructing a magnificent cathedral. During the early stages, those passing by see piles of stone, scattered pieces of wood, and workers moving from one place to another. Dust fills the air. Noise echoes through the unfinished structure. To an untrained eye, it appears chaotic. Yet the architect carries the complete design in mind from the very beginning. Every stone has a purpose. Every beam supports something greater. Every delay allows another essential piece to be carefully placed. My beloved child, your life is much like that cathedral. You see the dust. I see the completed beauty. You notice the unfinished walls. I see the sanctuary that is taking shape. There have been times when you believed you were falling behind because your plans did not unfold as expected. You watched doors close. You experienced disappointments. You questioned whether you had missed the purpose I intended for you. But I have never depended upon perfect circumstances to accomplish my plans. My purpose has always been stronger than your setbacks. Even the path you thought were mistakes have become places where my wisdom quietly redirected your steps toward something greater. Do not become discouraged by foundations. Foundations are rarely admired because they remain hidden beneath the surface. People celebrate the finished building, but they seldom notice the years of preparation that made it possible. In the same way, much of what I have been doing within your life has taken place where no one else could see it. I have been strengthening your character. I have been teaching you humility, patience, compassion, and perseverance. These qualities may not receive applause from the world, but they are precious in my sight because they prepare you to carry the blessings that are still ahead. Think about an acorn resting quietly beneath the soil. If someone judged it by its present appearance, they might overlook it completely. It seems small, ordinary, and insignificant. Yet hidden inside that tiny seed is the design for a mighty oak tree that will one day provide shade, strength, and shelter for generations. My beloved, I have placed gifts, wisdom, and purpose within you that have not yet fully appeared. Do not mistake your present season for the limit of what I have created you to become. What is growing inside you is greater than what you currently see around you. Sometimes you become impatient because you focus on what is missing instead of what is being formed. You ask why certain opportunities have not yet arrived, while I am preparing your heart to receive them with wisdom. You wonder why recognition has not yet come, while I am teaching you to remain faithful without needing the approval of others. You long for the harvest, while I am strengthening the roots that will sustain it. Every season has value, even the ones that seem quiet. My beloved child, there are blessings I have prepared that cannot be measured only by earthly success. I am building a heart that knows how to love deeply. I am forming a spirit that remains peaceful in uncertainty. I am creating within you a faith that does not depend upon circumstances. These treasures will remain long after temporary victories have faded. They will become a source of hope not only for your own journey, but also for everyone whose life your story will one day touch. Do not fear the unfinished places. They are evidence that I am still working. If I had finished shaping you, your journey would already be complete. But every new sunrise is another invitation for my grace to continue its beautiful work. Every challenge becomes another opportunity for your faith to grow. every act of obedience becomes another stone placed into the life I am building. So stop measuring your future by what your eyes can presently observe. Lift your vision higher. Trust that I am preparing rooms you have not yet entered, relationships you have not yet formed, opportunities you have not yet imagined, and joys that have not yet reached your heart. My plans are not limited by your current understanding. They extend far beyond the horizon of your imagination. My beloved child, continue walking with confidence. Do not lose hope because the building is not yet complete. Do not mistake construction for failure. I am the master builder, and I never abandon the work of my hands. What I have begun in your life, I will continue shaping with perfect wisdom, unfailing love, and patient care. One day you will stand in the very place I have been preparing for you, and you will look back with grateful eyes, realizing that every delay, every lesson, every quiet season, and every unexpected turn became part of something far more beautiful than you ever dreamed possible. My beloved child, you were never meant to carry this alone. From the very beginning, I did not create your heart to bear every burden by itself. I formed you for relationship with me. I created you to walk with me, to lean upon me, and to discover the freedom that comes when you trust my strength more than your own. Yet I know how often you have tried to carry everything without asking for my help. You have convinced yourself that you must solve every problem, protect every dream, answer every question, and hold every piece of your life together through your own effort. My beloved, that has never been my desire for you. I have watched you carry invisible weights that no one else could see. You carried worries about your future while trying to smile through the present. You carried regret over yesterday while fearing tomorrow. You carried responsibilities that grew heavier with every passing day because you believed that setting them down would somehow mean you had failed. But listen carefully to my voice. The greatest act of faith is not proving how much you can carry. It is trusting me enough to place your burdens into my hands. Imagine a weary traveler crossing a long desert with a backpack filled with heavy stones. At first, the traveler believes the weight can be managed. But as the sun rises higher and the journey becomes longer, every step grows more difficult. The shoulders begin to ache. The knees begin to weaken. The traveler slows down, not because the destination has moved farther away, but because the unnecessary weight has stolen the strength needed for the journey. Then a kind guide approaches and gently says, "You do not need to carry those stones. Give them to me. I know the way, and I have the strength to bear what is crushing you." My beloved child, I have been speaking those same words to your heart. Give me the stone of fear that tells you the future is uncertain. Give me the stone of regret that keeps pulling your eyes toward yesterday. Give me the stone of disappointment that whispers nothing will ever change. Give me the stone of striving that convinces you everything depends upon your own ability. These burdens were never meant to remain on your shoulders. They belong in my hands. There are burdens that teach you responsibility, and there are burdens that quietly destroy your peace. Wisdom is learning the difference. Responsibility helps you grow. Anxiety drains your strength. Faithfulness invites you to do what is placed before you today. Worry demands that you carry tomorrow before it arrives. I have never asked you to carry tomorrow. I have promised to meet you there when the time comes. Think about a river flowing steadily toward the sea. It does not struggle to carry the entire journey all at once. It simply continues moving one moment at a time, trusting the path I created for it. The river never worries about reaching the ocean because it remains within the course I designed. My beloved, your life becomes peaceful when you remain within the path of trust instead of wandering into the wilderness of endless worry. Every day has enough grace for that day's needs. Tomorrow's grace will arrive with tomorrow's sunrise. I know there are nights when your thoughts become louder than my promises. You lie awake trying to solve problems that cannot be solved before morning. Your mind travels into situations that have not happened and may never happen. Fear paints pictures that steal your rest, and exhaustion makes those pictures seem even more convincing. But my beloved child, I am awake while you sleep. The one who watches over your life never grows tired. While your body rests, my faithfulness continues working. While you surrender to sleep, I remain fully aware of every detail that concerns you. Have you noticed how often the answers you desperately searched for arrived when you finally stopped trying to force them? Sometimes clarity came during a quiet walk. Sometimes peace settled into your heart after you released the struggle. Sometimes the solution appeared through an unexpected conversation or a door you never planned to open. These moments were reminders that my wisdom is not dependent upon your endless striving. I am able to accomplish what your own strength never could. My beloved child, surrender is not weakness. It is trust in its purest form. When you place your burdens into my hands, you are not giving up. You are giving them to the one who has never failed you. You are declaring that my wisdom is greater than your understanding, my strength is greater than your weakness, and my love is greater than every fear that has tried to settle in your heart. There is such freedom waiting for you when you stop carrying what belongs to me. Imagine walking through life with your hands open instead of tightly clenched. Open hands are able to receive new blessings because they are no longer occupied by unnecessary weight. Open hands are able to comfort others because they are not consumed with holding on to fear. Open hands become a beautiful picture of a heart that trusts its Father completely. So today, my beloved, I invite you to lay everything before me. Lay down the pressure to have every answer. Lay down the fear of what tomorrow may bring. Lay down the disappointment that still lingers from yesterday. Lay down the expectations that have become too heavy to bear. I will not reject what you bring to me. I will receive it with love, compassion, and perfect understanding. Walk with me now, lighter than before. Let my peace replace your striving. Let my presence become your resting place. Let my promises become stronger than your worries. For you were never created to carry life alone. You were created to walk hand in hand with me, and as long as my hand is holding yours, there's no burden too great, no valley too deep, and no tomorrow too uncertain for us to face together. My beloved child, my grace is rewriting your story. I know there have been moments when you believed the pages of your life were already finished, as though every mistake, every disappointment, and every painful memory had permanently determined your future. You looked at the chapters behind you and quietly wondered whether there was still room for hope. You questioned whether anything beautiful could grow from ground that had known so much sorrow. But listen carefully to my voice. As long as I am the author of your life, your story is never beyond redemption. My grace is always writing a new chapter. Grace is not simply overlooking what has happened. Grace is transforming what happened into something that serves a greater purpose. It is my love reaching into places where human strength cannot reach. It is my mercy breathing life into dreams that appeared lifeless. It is my wisdom taking scattered pieces and arranging them into a masterpiece that only I could create. You may see broken fragments, but I see the beautiful picture they are becoming. There was a time when you believed one painful season had stolen your future. You thought the door that closed would never be replaced. You believed the relationship that ended had taken your joy with it. You imagined the failure you experienced had become your identity. But my beloved, those moments were never meant to become the final words of your story. They were sentences within a much greater chapter that my grace continues to write with perfect love. Imagine an artist standing before a canvas that has been marked by accidental stains and unexpected brushstrokes. Someone else might decide to throw the canvas away and begin again. But the true artist does something remarkable. Instead of discarding the painting, the artist begins working with the unexpected marks. Little by little, those very places become part of a masterpiece more beautiful than the original design. The flaws are no longer flaws. They become part of the story the painting was always meant to tell. My beloved child, I am that artist. I have never looked at your life and seen something beyond restoration. I have always seen the possibility of redemption. There are wounds within your heart that you believed would always remain open. You have carried them quietly, afraid they would never fully heal. Yet even now, my grace is gently restoring places that no one else can see. Some healing happens in a single moment. Other healing unfolds little by little, like the morning light slowly filling the sky. Do not become discouraged because your restoration has been a journey rather than an instant miracle. Every step forward is evidence that my hand is still at work. Think about the sunrise after a long night. The darkness never leaves all at once. First there is a faint glow on the horizon. Then the colors begin to spread across the heavens. Gradually the light grows stronger until the entire landscape is transformed. No one doubts that morning has arrived simply because the first light appeared gently instead of suddenly. My beloved, my grace often works like the sunrise. It enters quietly, steadily, and faithfully until the darkness that once surrounded you no longer has power over your heart. You may still remember the pain of yesterday, but notice how differently you carry it now. There was a time when those memories controlled your thoughts every day. Now they no longer hold the same authority. They remind you of where you have been, but they no longer decide where you are going. That change is not the result of your own strength alone. It is my grace quietly transforming your heart day after day. My beloved child, do not be afraid of beginning again. The world often celebrates those who never stumble, but I delight in those who rise after they have fallen because they trust my hand more than their own ability. Every new beginning is a testimony that my mercy has not been exhausted. Every fresh start is another reminder that I have not finished my work within you. There are people you will one day encourage because of the very chapters you once wished had never happened. Your story of restoration will become someone else's reason to keep believing. The comfort you have received will become comfort you freely give. The hope I have planted within your heart will grow into a shelter for others who are weary. Nothing surrendered to me remains without purpose. Do not allow old labels to follow you into the future I have prepared. You are not the person fear once told you that you were. You are not permanently defined by heartbreak, failure, rejection, or loss. You are being transformed by my love every single day. Your identity is found in my grace, not in your greatest struggle. When I look at you, I do not see only where you have been. I see who you are becoming. So lift your eyes from the pages already written and look toward the chapters still ahead. There is fresh hope waiting for you. There is new joy preparing to bloom. There are unexpected blessings that my hands are already arranging. The story is not ending in sorrow. It is moving toward restoration. It is moving toward peace. It is moving toward the beautiful future that my grace has been patiently writing from the very beginning. My beloved child, trust the author who has never abandoned the story. Let my grace continue its quiet work within you. Every sunrise is another opportunity for healing. Every act of faith is another sentence written with hope. Every step you take with me becomes another page filled with my mercy. And when your story is told, it will not be remembered as a tale of defeat. It will be remembered as the beautiful testimony of a heart that discovered the endless power of my redeeming grace. My beloved child, your future is safer than your fear suggests. I know that when you think about tomorrow, your mind is sometimes filled with questions instead of confidence. You wonder what challenges may come, whether your strength will be enough, whether the doors you hope for will ever open, or whether the peace you long for will finally become your reality. Fear enjoys painting the future with dark colors. It speaks as though every uncertainty is a disaster waiting to happen. It convinces you to prepare your heart for pain before pain has even arrived. But I have not called you to live beneath the shadow of imagined troubles. I have called you to live in the light of my faithful promises. The future has always seemed frightening when viewed through the eyes of fear. Fear never tells the whole story. It shows you only the storm but hides the shelter. It points to the mountain but ignores the path I have already prepared. It magnifies the problem while refusing to acknowledge my power. If you listen only to fear, tomorrow will always appear too heavy to carry. But if you listen to my voice, you will remember that tomorrow is not carried by your strength alone. It rests securely within my hands. Imagine a child lying awake at night because strange shadows dance across the bedroom wall. Every shadow seems mysterious. Every unfamiliar shape appears dangerous. The child's imagination begins creating stories that are not real. Then the father quietly enters the room, turns on a small light, and gently says, "Look again." The shadows have not become monsters. They are only ordinary objects seen without enough light. My beloved child, many of the fears you carry about tomorrow are like those shadows. They appear powerful only because fear has dimmed the light of my truth. When my presence fills your heart, what once seemed overwhelming begins to return to its proper size. You have worried about conversations that never happened. You have feared losses that never came. You have imagined failures that never became reality. Precious hours have been stolen by battles that existed only within anxious thoughts. I never wanted your heart to become exhausted by fighting enemies that were never standing before you. I created your heart to be filled with hope, not with endless predictions of sorrow. Remember how many times you feared that everything would fall apart, yet I carried you safely through those very seasons. There were moments when you believed there would be no way forward, but a path appeared exactly when it was needed. There were days when you thought your strength had reached its end, but somehow you found the courage to take another step. That courage was not an accident. It was my presence strengthening you from within. The same Father who faithfully guided you through yesterday has already gone before you into tomorrow. Think of a shepherd leading the flock toward a peaceful meadow. The sheep cannot see the meadow while they are walking through the narrow valley. They only see the winding trail beneath their feet. If they judged the entire journey by the valley alone, they might believe there was no place of rest waiting ahead. But the shepherd has already seen the meadow. He knows where the fresh water flows. He knows where the green grass grows. Every step through the valley is leading toward a place the sheep cannot yet imagine. My beloved, I am your shepherd. I know exactly where I am leading you. I have not lost the way, and neither have you. Do not confuse uncertainty with danger. There are many things you do not yet know, but there is one thing you can know with absolute confidence. My love will meet you in every moment of your future. There is no tomorrow where my grace will fail to arrive. There is no challenge where my wisdom will not be enough. There is no valley where my presence will refuse to walk beside you. Before you experience any moment, I have already prepared the strength you will need for it. My beloved child, your future is not being written by fear. It is being shaped by my faithfulness. Every sunrise I allow you to see carries fresh mercy. Every season I lead you through carries hidden purpose. Every delay is filled with preparation. Every blessing arrives with perfect timing. Even the chapters that seem uncertain today are already held together by my loving hands. Stop allowing fear to borrow tomorrow's peace before tomorrow even arrives. Do not let anxious thoughts convince you that you must solve problems that do not yet exist. Instead, remain faithful in the day I have placed before you. Love well today. Trust deeply today. Rest peacefully today. The grace I have given you is sufficient for this moment, and when tomorrow becomes today, I will provide fresh grace once again. Lift your eyes beyond the horizon of your worries. The future you imagine through fear is not the future I have prepared for you. I have gone ahead of you, making a way where you cannot yet see one. I have placed hope beyond every valley, strength beyond every weakness, and joy beyond every season of sorrow. My plans are not fragile. They are secure because they are held together by my unchanging love. So walk forward with confidence, my beloved. You do not need to fear the unknown when you belong to the one who knows all things. Let my promises become stronger than your predictions. Let my peace become louder than your anxiety. Let my love become the foundation upon which every tomorrow is built. Your future is safer than your fear suggests because it has never rested in fear's hands. It has always rested securely in mine, and I will faithfully guide you until every promise I have spoken over your life is beautifully fulfilled. My beloved child, I have never stopped holding you. There has never been a single moment in your life when my hand released yours, even if you could not feel my touch. There were days when your heart was full of joy, and there were nights when your soul felt overwhelmed with sorrow. There were seasons when your faith seemed strong enough to move mountains, and there were seasons when you struggled to whisper even the smallest prayer. To every one of those moments, my love remained unchanged. I did not draw closer to you because you were strong, and I did not move away because you were weak. I have always held you with the same faithful love. You often believe that my presence depends upon your ability to sense it. When your heart feels peaceful, you assume I am near. When your emotions become troubled, you wonder if I have stepped away. But my beloved, my presence has never depended upon your feelings. Feelings rise and fall like the waves upon the sea. My faithfulness remains steady like the shore that never moves. Whether you recognize my hand or not, it continues holding you with unwavering strength. Think about a tiny child who falls asleep while traveling in the arms of a loving father. The child knows nothing about the road ahead. There is no awareness of the distance remaining, the turns being taken, or the obstacles being avoided. While the child sleeps peacefully, the father continues carrying the precious life entrusted to his care. The journey continues even though the child is unaware of every detail. My beloved child, there have been many seasons when you felt too weary to keep walking. You believe your strength had disappeared. Yet I quietly carried you through those moments, protecting you while you rested in ways you never fully understood. There were times when disappointment caused you to question my love. A prayer remained unanswered longer than expected. A dream seemed to fade. Someone you trusted walked away. A door closed that you believed would change everything. In those painful moments, you wondered whether I had loosened my grip upon your life. But look back now with the eyes of faith. Even through those difficult chapters, you were not abandoned. You are still here. Your heart still beats. Your hope still lives. Your story continues. Those are not signs of my absence. They are evidence of my faithful care. Imagine a mountain climber secured by a strong safety rope while crossing a dangerous cliff. There are moments when the climber slips. Blue stones shift beneath tired feet. The path becomes uncertain. Yet the rope does not fail when the climber stumbles. Instead, it prevents the fall from becoming disaster. My beloved, my love has been that secure rope throughout your life. You have stumbled, but I did not let you be destroyed. You have grown weary, but I did not let you remain without strength. You have questioned the path, but I have never stopped leading you toward safety. Sometimes you measure my faithfulness only by the blessings you can immediately see. But my faithfulness extends far beyond visible answers. It is present in the strength that helped you survive difficult days. It is present in the peace that unexpectedly entered your heart during seasons of uncertainty. It is present in the wisdom you gained through painful experiences. It is present in the people I placed beside you at just the right time. It is present in every sunrise that reminded you my mercies were new once again. My beloved child, there were moments when you thought you were holding on to me with the last bit of strength you had left. But the deeper truth is this: it was never your grip that sustained the relationship. It was mine. Even when your faith became weak, my faithfulness remained strong. Even when your prayers became few, my love continued speaking over your life. Even when you questioned your own future, I never questioned my purpose for you. A loving shepherd does not abandon a lamb because it becomes tired. The shepherd lifts the weary one onto strong shoulders and continues the journey until the lamb is able to walk again. In the same way, I have carried you through seasons you barely remember surviving. There were battles you thought would destroy you, but my strength became your shelter. There were valleys where you believed all hope had disappeared, but I quietly led you toward the light waiting beyond the next hill. Do not fear that one difficult season can separate you from my care. Do not believe that your weakness has the power to push me away. My love is not fragile. It is stronger than every failure, every fear, every disappointment, and every unanswered question. Nothing you face surprises me, and nothing you experience changes my decision to remain by your side. So rest your heart, my beloved. You do not have to cling to me in fear, wondering whether I will let go. Instead, rest in the assurance that my hands are stronger than your weakness. My love is greater than your doubts. My faithfulness is deeper than your understanding. You are safe, not because you have done everything perfectly, but because you belong to me. As you continue this journey, remember every step we have taken together. Remember every valley we have crossed, every storm we have endured, every mountain we have climbed, and every blessing we have celebrated. They all tell the same beautiful story. I have never stopped holding you. I am holding you now. And I will continue holding you through every tomorrow until the day you fully see what I have been preparing for you all along. My hand will never fail, my love will never fade, and my presence will never leave you. My beloved child, this is the moment to let go of worry. We have walked together through every chapter of this journey. I have reminded you that I saw every tear before it fell. I have shown you that I was working behind closed doors, guiding your steps even when the path seemed hidden. I have spoken peace over your fears, hope over your waiting, and love over your past. Now I invite you to do something that may feel simple, yet requires great faith. I invite you to release the burdens you have carried for far too long. You have held tightly to worries because you believed they somehow protected you. You thought that if you worried enough, you could prevent disappointment. If you imagined every possible outcome, perhaps you would not be caught by surprise. But my beloved, worry has never added peace to your heart. It has only stolen the joy I placed before you today. Worry promises control, yet it gives only exhaustion. It promises preparation, yet it leaves your soul weary. It asks you to carry weights that were never designed for your shoulders. Think of someone standing beside a beautiful river while carrying buckets filled with muddy water. The river beside them is clear, fresh, and overflowing, yet they continue clinging to what has already become heavy and stagnant. They fear that if they pour out the muddy water, they will be left with nothing. But the moment they empty the buckets, they discover the river has always been ready to fill them with something pure. My beloved child, your worries are those heavy buckets. My peace is the living river flowing beside you. I cannot fill hands that refuse to release what they are already holding. There are worries about your family. There are worries about your health. There are worries about your future, your finances, your purpose, your relationships, and the dreams that still seem distant. I know every one of them because nothing in your heart has ever been hidden from me. I do not ask you to pretend those concerns do not exist. I ask you to trust that my love is greater than every one of them. Remember how often you have stood at the beginning of a difficult season believing there would be no way through it. Yet every time, I remained faithful. The valley did not last forever. The storm eventually passed. The tears slowly gave way to new hope. Why should tomorrow be different? Have I ever abandoned you? Have I ever stopped working for your good? Have I ever failed to provide the strength you needed at the exact moment you needed it? Your own story is filled with evidence that my faithfulness has carried you farther than your fears ever could. Imagine a little child walking with a backpack far too heavy for small shoulders. Every step becomes slower. Every hill feels impossible. Then the father kneels beside the child and gently says, "Give it to me." The child hesitates because the backpack has become familiar. Even though it is painful, it has been carried for so long that setting it down feels uncertain. But the moment the child finally places it into the father's hands, the journey becomes lighter. The road has not changed. The destination has not moved. What has changed is who is carrying the weight. My beloved, this is the invitation I place before you today. Give it to me. Do not pick up tomorrow's burdens before tomorrow arrives. Do not carry yesterday's regrets into the new morning I have prepared for you. Lie fully in the brace I have provided for this day. There is enough strength for today. There is enough wisdom for today. There is enough peace for today. And when tomorrow comes, I will meet you there with fresh mercy, just as I always have. My beloved child, worry has spoken to you long enough. It has tried to convince you that you are alone, but you are not. It has told you that everything depends upon your own strength, but it does not. It has whispered that the future is uncertain, yet it has never mentioned that I already stand waiting for you in every tomorrow. Do not allow that voice to become louder than mine any longer. Instead, fill your heart with gratitude. Thank me for the breath in your lungs. Thank me for the strength that has carried you this far. Thank me for the prayers already answered and for the answers still on their way. Gratitude has a beautiful way of opening your eyes to my presence. It reminds you that even while you were waiting for one blessing, many others were quietly surrounding your life. Now take a deep breath and rest your heart in my love. Release the fear that has followed you. Release the questions you cannot answer. Release the need to control every outcome. Release the pressure to understand every detail of my plan. Let your soul become quiet in my presence. Let my promises become stronger than your doubts. Let my peace become the place where your heart now lives. My beloved child, this is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not when every answer arrives. Not when every problem disappears. This moment is enough. Choose trust over worry. Choose peace over fear. Choose hope over despair. Place every burden into my hands and walk forward with freedom. For I have already gone before you. I am walking beside you now, and I will remain with you forever. You no longer need to carry what I have already chosen to carry for you. My beloved child, we have reached this moment together, and I want you to hear my heart one more time. From the very beginning, I told you to stop worrying because I had already fixed what was stealing your peace. Now look at everything I have reminded you throughout this journey. I was with you before your tears ever fell. I walked ahead of you when the road seemed uncertain. I carried you when your strength failed. I protected you through doors that never opened. I redeemed your mistakes. I turned your waiting into preparation. I filled your storms with purpose. I never stopped holding your hand, even when you believed you were walking alone. My beloved, do not leave this message carrying the same burdens you brought with you. Leave them here with me. Let this be the day when your heart finally believes what I have been whispering all along. Your future is not in the hands of fear. It is in my hands. Your story is not being written by disappointment. It is being written by my grace. Your life is not moving toward defeat. It is moving toward the purpose I lovingly prepared before you took your first breath. When worry comes knocking again, remember my voice. When fear tries to convince you that nothing will ever change, remember my promises. When doubt whispers that you have been forgotten, remember my faithfulness. Do not measure my love by the circumstances around you. Measure it by the crossroad after crossroad where I continued leading you, by every sunrise I allowed you to see, by every breath I placed within your lungs, and by every moment my mercy quietly carried you when you did not even realize I was holding you. There will still be days when questions remain. There will still be seasons that require patience. There will still be moments when you cannot see the next step clearly. But now you know something that changes everything. You know that you never walk into those moments alone. I am already there. I have already entered every tomorrow. I have already prepared the strength you will need, the wisdom you will receive, and the peace that will guard your heart. Walk through your life with your head lifted high, not because every problem has disappeared, but because your Father walks beside you. Let kindness become your answer instead of bitterness. Let forgiveness replace resentment. Let hope overcome despair. Let peace become louder than panic. Become a light to those who are still trapped in the darkness you once knew. Share the comfort I have poured into your heart with those whose hearts are still breaking. Let your life become living evidence that my love restores, heals, and never abandons those who trust me. Never forget who you are. You are not your failures. You are not your fears. You are not your disappointments. You are not defined by the opinions of people or by the pain of your past. You are my beloved child. You are deeply loved, completely known, endlessly valued, and faithfully kept. Nothing can separate you from my love. No storm can wash it away. No mistake can erase it. No waiting season can weaken it. My love for you is eternal, and my promises over your life remain secure forever. And now, my beloved, if this message has strengthened your heart and reminded you of my unfailing love, I invite you to become part of carrying this light to countless others who are still searching for hope. I say to you, give, and it will be given to you, not as distant words, but as my living promise spoken over your life today. When you sow into this mission through a super thanks, YouTube membership, or a PayPal offering, you are planting seeds that allow my word to reach hearts across the world. The PayPal donation link is waiting for you in the video description, and you can also give through the QR code shown in this video. Do not hold back the seed I have placed in your hand, because every seed sown in faith becomes part of a harvest of transformed lives. Let your generosity become a river that carries my hope into homes filled with fear and into hearts longing for peace. I will remember every cheerful giver, and I will breathe fresh strength, unexpected favor, and abundant peace into the lives of those who faithfully support this work. Rise in faith, release your seed with joy, and become part of the miracle of spreading my love to the ends of the earth. Now I place my blessing over you. May your heart rest in a peace that no circumstance can still. May your home be filled with love that overcomes every fear. May your family experience my protection, my wisdom, and my joy. May your weary soul find new strength each morning. May every closed door that was meant for your good remain closed, and may every door I have prepared open at the perfect time. May healing flow into every wounded place within your heart. May hope rise where despair once lived. May courage replace anxiety. May your faith grow stronger with every step you take. May you always remember that before you ever faced a problem, I had already prepared the answer. Before you ever cried, I had already gathered your tears. Before you ever worried, I had already gone before you. Walk forward now with confidence, my beloved child. Leave fear behind. Leave worry behind. Leave the weight of yesterday behind. My peace will guide you. My love will surround you. My faithfulness will sustain you. And when you look back over your life, you will see that I never failed you, not even once. Amen.